Aloha. Seven. Seven. Is anybody else online? Margaret's on it. Okay, welcome to the Diamond Head Kapahulu St. Louis Heights October board meeting. And Winston Welch calling the meeting to order. And Curtis, if you would do a roll call for us.
Allen,
Here.
Knight, Matson, absent. Miranda, absent. Murchie,
Hi. Here.
Rosman, St. Dennis,
Here.
Velasco,
Here.
Wasden, Witherwax, absent. Bruce Wong, absent. Linda Wong, absent. Chair Welch. And that is not a quorum. Eight online. You do have a quorum.
Thank you, Curtis. And if you see them come in, then you can let us know. With that, we will start with our public safety announcements. And first, we have the Honolulu Fire Department in Waikiki Station. Is there somebody here online, I believe? CHOHD. Okay. Well, if they come here, then we'll come back to them. Otherwise, let's move on to the police department. Go ahead. Police Department, District 6, Waikiki, Kapolani Park, Diamond Head.
Hi, Lieutenant Oro from District 6, Waikiki. Let's go over some stats. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so robberies this month we had 3. Previous month was 1. Burglaries 6. Previous month was 12. Thefts 148. Previous month was 133. UEMV 7. Previous month was 13. Assaults 48. Previous month 43. Sex crimes 5. Previous month 4. Skateboards, bikes on sidewalks 2 citations. Previous month was 5. Speeding, we had 13 citations. The previous month, we didn't have any. Parking, 2,296. And previous month was 2,332. Loud mufflers and prohibited noise, we had 14. Previous month was 4. Park closures, we had 34 citations and 25 arrests. Previous month was 74 citations and 22 arrests. Total calls for service 4,926, and the previous month was 4,400. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Are there questions for Honolulu Police Department or District 6? And I don't see, there's one online. Margaret, go ahead.
Hi. I noticed we just got a notice that from the Waikiki Neighborhood Board, and they're going to be like 7 or 8 street closures and events over the next month and a half in Waikiki, Kalakaua, and I'm just wondering if you guys are ready to, keep things moving, because it's getting stupid. It's getting ridiculous. People can't get in, they can't get out. I know the last one was the summer festival, but there are a couple more that are kind of frivolous too. They're not, I don't think they're going to be allowed next year. I think the cap kicks in January, but we really need to have better traffic movement at either end, particularly at Royal Hawaiian Avenue and Kalakaua, because the summer festival was a nightmare. They just had police directing traffic at each end of the block party, and nobody could get through on Royal Hawaiian. I know I sound like a broken record, but it needs to be better handled. But
Yeah.
there are like 7 or 8 coming right up. And like I said, there are a couple or 3 or 4 of them that are the same guy that, gamed the lottery last few years.
Yeah, I'll bring that up with the special duty guys. They're the ones that normally do the traffic. Um, they take care of traffic control. I know
There
we
was
do have a
none.
phone party on Saturday, I believe, and I think there's a
It's every
race
week.
early morning on Sunday. So
All right.
there are going to be some
I mean,
closures.
there's a whole, they've got a whole list of them. And the thing is that, you know, that on that one that I was talking about, the traffic was completely congested at a stop and nobody could move and you couldn't cross the street. People had to be let off on Cahill Avenue. They couldn't get to their hotels. No, it's not right. But anyway, I know that you just do what you can do. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Margaret. And any other questions for District 6? Seeing none, thank you, sir, for coming. Have a safe month. And next, move on to District 7, Diamond Head, Kapahulu, St. Louis Heights, East Honolulu Police Department. Is there someone online? I see Lieutenant Thompson.
Hi, good evening. Lieutenant Thompson from District 7. I'll start with the stats from September. There's 10 motor vehicle thefts, 3 burglaries, 27 thefts, and 5 unauthorized entry into motor vehicle cases. The total call for service for the month for District 7 is 5,864. Last month's meeting, someone inquired about an assault that occurred around the Makale Beach Park and is wondering if the suspect was arrested. I searched, and as closest to the date that I could find that the person had asked was on the 7th of September. There was an assault third arrest. An adult male was arrested at about 10:30 in the morning at Diamond Head and Coconut, which is pretty close to Makale Beach Park. But the suspect was arrested, and it was a minor altercation between 2 adult males. MVC stats that someone had asked for the month of September in the Diamond Head corridor. There were 2 major MVCs that resulted in injuries. Both parties were not transported by ambulance as they were minor in nature. And there was 2 other major, but they were minor accidents that involved a hit and run. Yeah. So there was total of 4. 2 were hit and run, and 2 were minor injuries. And that was it for that. And the safety tip for the month. I'd like to go over home security tips. And I'll go over a few. This could be found on our police website, honolulupd.org. And always lock all exterior doors and windows before leaving your home, even if it's for a short trip. Make your home look occupied by leaving on lights and radios and make it difficult to break in. Always lock your garage doors and sheds. Don't tempt a thief. Store lawnmowers, mopeds, bicycles, surfboards, or any valuables out of sight. Trim your shrubbery around your home to reduce cover for burglars. Install motion-sensitive lighting near doors and dark areas on your property to prevent concealment of intruders. Never leave keys under doormats, flower pots, or other, normal hiding places. They'll know to look. Never leave notes on your door such as gone shopping. Mark your valuables with driver's license numbers or other personal identifiers with an engraver. Pictures are also good. Keep a detailed inventory of valuable possessions, including description of items, date, purchase, and original value, serial numbers, and keep it in a safe place away from home. Install a safe for items such as cash, jewelry, or firearms, and it should be bolted down to the floor or foundation to prevent from being taken. Change locks immediately if your keys are lost or stolen. When you move into a new home, have all your locks changed. In Hawaii, we have louvered windows. They're intended for ventilation, but not security. And it's a common way for people to break into houses. So short of changing your windows, another preventive measure would be to glue the louvers in place or buy those security clips. It's not foolproof, but it does make it harder to get in. And considering installing a burglar alarm system. And there's other tips that can be found again on the honolulupd.org website. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Thank you, Lieutenant Thompson. Do we have questions for the lieutenant in person or online? I did have a question about, I saw on one of the overhangs, there were 6 hit and runs this year, but you just mentioned 2. Is that 2 in District 7? And also, were those fatalities, or, is there any,
So I think
the perpetrator, were they caught? Yeah.
The one on the sideboard, I seen the one on the freeway is there are 6 hit and run deaths so far this year, island wide. For just the Diamond Head corridor, I just gave the stats for the Diamond Head corridor because someone had asked for it. There were 2 hit and runs. They were minor. I think one was a mirror, and they're considered major because the driver had fled. And there was two 2 accidents that involved minor injury with no hospitalization. So altogether, there was 4, they're categorized as major, but they were not fatal or critical or serious injuries.
Thank you, sir. Are there other questions? Madam Matson?
Follow-up question. Thank you. I think we had on the agenda, we need a little more information on the collisions on Diamond Head Road. Thank you so much for your excellent report in August and September regarding the accidents for 2025. However, we need to know where the locations are because DTS is doing a study and we're looking at the most dangerous locations. So if you could provide the general locations, I think they go by addresses. Some of them have homes and some of them are vacant. But whatever is marked on the plat, and also the dates and times. The times are important to determine if these drivers were impaired.
So for the
And,
traffic, sorry,
the dates.
for the traffic study, the DTS can go through our traffic division to go get that information.
Thank you. We'd
Is it
really
gonna be-
appreciate having it because.
But if you
of-
want to know
of-
the 4 that I have that I reported, I think one was
Right.
near Waikiki Elementary. The other 2, one was by Beach Road on Diamond Head Road. That was
Right.
a minor injury. And then the other one was by the Lookouts, and that was a minor injury. And there was another hit and run, so to speak, and that was, I believe, by Montserrat and Campbell.
All right, that's helpful, but we are doing some research. So if there is more definite information, we'd really appreciate having it just for this purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. And Margaret?
We can't hear you.
You're on mute. Yeah, Margaret, you're still on mute. You're very animated, so
There you go.
must be a
Yeah.
good question.
Okay, no, I'm just gonna say that, when we're reading the paper and things like that about Waikiki incidents in Waikiki, Waikiki is big. And so, we kind of need to be careful in particular areas and you know where they are. Or when a bicyclist is hit in front of a hotel, we need to know kind of where it was, not just generally. So it'd be really nice to know where these things are happening so we can be extra careful.
There's also information that can be found on our website as far as incidences in areas. If you want to look for accidents and stuff, you can find that on the website as well.
Does it have a map?
Yes.
Okay. But it'd be
Thank you.
great if you're announcing, somebody's running around stabbing people. We need to, is it at the end or the Diamond Head end? Thanks. You guys do a great job. Sorry, I'm not always bitching.
Thank you.
And Ms. Knight?
Yeah. Thank you for following up with the hit and runs. I did have a question. Over where I kind of am along Wiley, we've had an increase in those experiencing homelessness. And so a few of the community members were wondering, in the around apartments, there's been some individuals who kind of hide out in the garages. And so I was just curious because we were talking about different ways to mitigate it. And I know trespassing, like TROs is one, but in those situations, is there something you guys can do? Or because they're also, they had to put a lock on their trash can on their dumpsters because individuals were climbing into said dumpsters. And it was also happening around the times as well.
Yeah, for private property, we're gonna need somebody representing the property to call. We cannot just clear people out of property if we don't know if they belong there or not. So we need someone to tell us that they don't belong there and they're not wanted for us to ask them to leave.
Okay. And so for those instances, you could send a person over to kind of help usher them out?
Yeah, if you call.
Okay, and that's the same for the grocery stores as well, I'm assuming,
Yes.
because that's private. Okay,
Right.
sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other questions for Lieutenant Thompson? Thank you very much, sir, for coming and your
you,
service
James.
for our community. Okay, we do have a busy meeting tonight, several presentations, and as always, please mind the time. And if someone's already talked about something, you can say, I agree with Arlene. She's always so smart and well-spoken. We do have, and Curtis, we did have Michelle Manson come in and Linda Wong during that District 7 report. We do have 2 vacant seats at large. The Neighborhood Commission did grant our request that the 2 open seats for Sub-District 2 are at large for the rest of this term. And I would like to take, if there's anybody here who would be interested in running. Okay, and I see Rafia Hasina. Are there any other candidates online or in person who are interested in running? Okay, I will nominate Rafia Hasina for the chair seat. I guess, yeah, at large, yes. And Rafia, would you tell us about yourself a little bit for those people that may not know you? Yes.
Good evening and aloha, namaste to everybody. I used to be here with Neighborhood Board since 2021, and I took a break and lose my election, some reason, and I come back again. And when yeah, okay, it's okay. Okay, so when I heard about the opportunity to have a large capacity. So I would like to come back again, and I appreciate all of your support and let me get the opportunity to work with you and my mission and vision to serve community and neighborhood board listening to improvement and all of the concern of the neighborhood and a greater picture. I would love to serve you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rafia. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to speak on behalf of Rafia.
Okay.
We've known Rafia for several years, and she's very committed not only to her own sub-district, St. Louis Heights, but to the entire community district. And she has weighed in on several issues. She's been part of various committees. She speaks responsibly and responsibly to the issues. And I would certainly welcome her back to this board. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Wong?
I'd like. Is it working? Oh, sorry. So sorry. I'd like to also testify for the, thank you. When she was on the board before, she came to countless, well, every meeting that I went to that was extracurricular above and beyond these hours here. And I saw her at a lot of meetings. She was vocal and spoke for the board. And I really appreciate, because not every board member goes to all the other meetings that we have beyond this table. And she was at them all. So I really respect her. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Are there any other folks who are interested in one of these seats? If not, then we will take your roll call. So just let folks know there is one more seat. It's available for anybody in Neighborhood Board 5, and that will come up until it's filled. Well, I don't see anybody online. So with that, I will ask Curtis to take a roll call for Rafia Hasina for the seat.
Okay, if you'd like to vote for Rafia Hasina, just state her name, Hasina. Allen,
Rafia Hasina.
Knight,
Yeah, Hasina.
Matson,
Rafia Hasina.
Miranda,
Hasina.
Murchie,
Sina,
Rosman,
Hasina.
St. Dennis, Velasco,
Hasina.
Wasden,
Rafia Hasina.
Witherwax, Absent. Bruce Wong, absent. Linda Wong,
Athena.
Welch. 11 votes for Hasina, and she can take the oath of office now as an at-large board member.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Welcome back.
This is a blessing.
Okay, and while I think Curtis can administer the oath of office, since you've been here before, I think you got this down. While we do have our public interest and event announcements, starting with the fabulous Kathleen Pahinui from Board of Water Supply.
Mahalo for that kind introduction. You're very sweet. So no main breaks to report this month. Yay. Thank you. We're in a major conservation push because it's been so dry this all year, really. We've been blessed the last couple of days. We've had some good water up in central Oahu and a little bit on the North Shore, but still a lot of the areas, I mean, just driving down Kapahulu tonight, looking at Diamond Head, how dry it is. We just really need more water. So we're asking everybody to do whatever you can. And we're actually asking for 20% this time. And a lot of that can come from outdoor usage. You know, we live in Hawaii, one good rain, everything turns green. So we're asking you to cut back a little bit on your outdoor watering as much as you can. And again, little things like turning off the tap when you're brushing your teeth and, you know, washing dishes. If you don't have a dishwasher, get a little tub, fill it up with soap and water, wash it that way, then rinse it off in another tub. And then use that gray water to flush your toilet. You know, it's very simple. So thank you for that. And I also handed out copies of our latest Water Matters newsletter. We realize that we mail it to all of our customers, but if you live in a condominium, you don't see this, or a townhome. So we're going to start bringing these out to the neighborhood board meetings for people to read because it's got the same good information. And just because you don't pay us a bill doesn't mean the information's not of interest to you. So thank you. A couple of updates. Montserrat Avenue, according to our team, we should be somewhere between Leahi Avenue, Campbell Avenue on our project. So again, we apologize for the inconvenience, but they seem to be moving along. I have not heard about any issues or problems, so that's good. And then Board Member Murchie last month asked me about some water permits for a property on Kanaina Avenue, and we don't have any requests for water meters or anything over there. And I did email Board Member Murchie directly. So any questions?
I do know that on our agenda, we did have some questions about the main break reports and, or I'm sorry, the destruction of the Kui Lake Cliffs irrigation line and removal of valve control box. Do you know about that?
Yes, actually, I've been in touch with Board Member Mattson, and I did send her an email this afternoon. But if it's okay, Board Member, I'll go ahead and share the information. So it's not a Board of Water Supply. It's not under our jurisdiction. It is under the jurisdiction of the Department of Parks and Recreation. And hold on just one second. So this is the note that I got from our customer service team. So after speaking with Brett from DPR, he mentioned that the issue is ongoing. This is the low pressure and currently being addressed between the managing director and the team installing the additional sprinkler lines. And so at this time, there's no action required for us. So that addresses the low pressure that Board Member Mattson was telling me about. But the destruction of the lines in the valve box would have fallen under the purview of the Department of Parks and Recs, I believe. And we did reach out to them. So that's kind of all I know.
And similarly on the, just as a follow-up to that, and there's probably others, on the Mauka side of the street where the Naupaka was planted, where previously it died, I guess it's under that roadway. Is it under?
State, isn't that, Board Member? Yes.
It's parks, DLNR, so parks. Okay. Okay.
State parks, and they shut off the water completely, and that's why all of the previously very carefully planted and nurtured Naupaka all the way from Flanders Mini Park to the lighthouse on the Mauka side completely died.
Yeah.
And so the just as an add-on, there was a rockfall mitigation project that was a state's project, but it was turned over to the city. Prometheus Construction. They did install a new active line and replanted Naupaka behind their faux rockfall barriers that are much nicer than the Jersey barriers they had there before. And it was looking beautiful. The Naupaka had stabilized. It was growing over the top of the barrier, down. It was such an addition, a scenic addition with the native plants, the native shoreline plants. And somebody came along and sheared them all off, and they're dying. So somebody has also shut off that water line. And we're going to start talking with state parks to see if, because city doesn't control that side, right?
Not on the
They-
state side. We're only up to the meter box. So if they turned it off on their side of the meter from a valve, most of us have a property valve, and they could have done it from the valve.
2 valve boxes.
Yeah,
Your jurisdiction is just up to the valve box.
just up to the meter. So our side of the meter.
I
And then
see.
on the other side belongs to whoever pays the bill.
Right.
Okay, and then so this is stuff we have to bring up with the state and the city because that's vandalism again. I mean, as soon as, yeah, anyway, well, thank you so much. Are there other questions for Board of Water Supply, online or in person?
Is this somehow tied together with the removal of the water feeding system at Kuile Cliffs?
It's one and the same. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was there last Saturday and the weekend before that, and the weekend before that on the, let's see, it was Friday, because the meeting was at Saturday. Someone took out the complete water system at Kuile Cliffs that feeds all the plants, and they just planted 115 trees in commemoration of 9/11 and the 115 people that died in 9/11. So someone was brazen enough to take out the whole water thing and take it with them.
Yeah.
They don't know about the technical aspects of the control. So somebody who knew about the controllers
That can be in conjunction,
and
but,
it was beyond. So we're looking into that. Yeah.
well, I would like to report that to the public and to the neighborhood board. And the people there were very dismayed at the effort and they put into rescaping that whole area. And for someone to come along and remove the water system of the newly planted trees and everything else and take it with them needs to be found out.
It's shocking. And while it seems like a Board of Water Supplies issue, since it's about water, in fact, it's not Board of Water Supply. So we will let Kathleen go. Thank you for coming, but we will follow up with the city and the state.
Chair, that is the jurisdiction of city parks. They are under governor's executive order to care for and maintain the Mackay side of the slopes.
Governor or mayors?
The city.
Right.
The city is, they're under governor's order for care and maintenance of the Mackay side, the beach parks.
So we will follow up. With
So that is under, as being stated, it's under the
Right.
Department of Parks and Recreation. And there were some incidents prior to that concerning some of their staff. So we are definitely asking hard questions. Thank you.
I have some pictures in case anybody is interested.
How about when we get to that section?
Okay.
Kathleen, this is Arlene. I have a quick question. With the water drought, this shortage going on, is there any plan to have programs such as giving discounts for people who buy low flow toilets and that kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, we have a very robust rebate program on our website under the Water Sensible label. And we are actually working with EMV to see what we can do to even buoy up together on the rebates and stuff. But right now we're offering $100 off of a toilet. And you can buy a pretty decent toilet at Home Depot for like $100. So you still got to pay for the plumber though.
As a follow-up to that, I asked about trees. Any chance we could get trees and get a credit for trees being planted in these?
I've actually sent your idea up to the manager and I'm waiting to hear back from him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Okay, and next we have, where are we on our agenda, I think? Oh, yeah. KCC is not going to be able to come to, okay, thank you. And I do know there was a person about, let's go to C, announcement of public events, parades, and other upcoming activities, community interest. Somebody has contacted me about a bike ride today. And if you are here, unless there's somebody here in person, okay, no. And we will move on then to public and community concerns, open forum, 2 minutes per speaker. This is about topics that are not listed elsewhere on the agenda. Are there any community concerns that we have?
This is Arlene. I have one community concern. I've noticed a food truck. Well, it's like a coffee shop kind of truck parked on the overlook Diamond Head. And I was wondering, and I looked for a permit and I did not see one. So I was wondering if anyone knows anything about that.
Maybe Curtis, we can make a note of that for Ryan. Was that on the Mackay? Well, it was on the road.
They park along the Mackay side of the overlook.
I think it's going to be under DTS. Is that state? Is that a state road or is that a city road? But the whole of the road is city around Diamond Head.
It's under city
Uh, it's right by, yes, it's right by the lighthouse.
Okay, yeah, what that may be something that we can follow up with the mayor's rep on. Are there other community concerns that? Yes, Laura.
I would like a heads up when they're going to do something like they did with the Fiji concert, because I got a lot of phone calls and texts and questions about why that was done. And all I could do was guess that it was about safety, you know, for fire trucks and ambulances to be able to get in and out. But it would be nice if we had something to say to the public. You know, if something like that's going to be done ahead of time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Rafia?
I called,
Oh, go ahead. Okay. Oh, I have a concern about feral cat feeding in the city mill entrance. It is in the nighttime. Some travelers, not the neighborhood someone, some travelers, ladies, bringing the tray of food and lots of cats. They're distributing and feeding there. And they're not feeding, you know, I don't know who are those, but I don't want to too close to them because they're very much aggressive mood and they're, you know, spreading food here and there. And it is very unsafe, unhealthy, you know, just, I don't know how city mill complain or not, but I want to make a concern. It is no good for health reasons, so many reasons. The cat and food are everywhere, it's stingy. And it's not for good for walking in the area as a nighttime. And they're not our neighborhood, they're travelers. The travelers people. So why they're feeding here? So I just have a concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafia. And Linda?
thank you. I called the head of the Department of the Parades, Tai Fukumoto, that I used to work with, to let the public know about all the street closures. And he said that he will redouble their efforts to get someone here to tell us about any street closures, parades, anything that affects the people, the public, and the traffic.
So Ty will send that out?
He will. They're supposed to. He said nothing's changed since I used to track it, but I told him nobody's coming. So he said that he will redouble the parade's office effort to get somebody here for each street closure.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Arlene.
Sorry, I forgot one more thing. I was notified that the city is looking at redesigning a lot of the showers again. I know that a couple years ago, they made the same effort and they had Surfrider review and we weren't real happy with the results. So they have reached out to Surfrider again and Surfrider is going to do a review with them. And then I'm going to suggest that they present it to both our board and Waikiki board before, so that we all can get some input. One's from, I guess, from Waikiki down to, not to Queens, that whole area. This has to do with the design, the whole thing.
Thank you, Arlene.
Chair,
Yes.
could we set it up so that they work with the neighborhood board?
That's what my suggestion is going to be. They seem very amenable to that. So I was just approached this week, so this is all new.
Was there any they? Who are you talking about? Thank you.
It's some design group from, it looks like from the
From the
city has
city.
hired from the mainland.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank you.
From the mainland. Okay. Margaret?
Hi, I was thinking that maybe we could be given a list of upcoming concerts and events at the Waikiki Shell. I know that there was one that was canceled because the performer got sick, and I would have been there with bells on had I known that he was going to be there. But I don't know where they advertise it, if it's on Instagram or something like that. We don't really see it, but they should let us know when there is going to be a concert.
And that's DES. So, and I think Linda
Yeah.
just said,
It's data.
But they're
Yeah.
they are going to redouble their efforts to let the neighborhood board know. I just talked to the head of the parade office.
So it's not that difficult.
okay, that was parades, but I think actually what Margaret's talking about,
It'll cover,
shell.
I was very clear with him. It will cover any street closure, anything in the parks, anything that might affect traffic in our area.
okay, good. Thank you.
But I don't think he's the boss anymore.
He is. I just talked to him on the phone yesterday.
There you go. Okay, and Noella?
Oh, hi, everybody. Good evening. Congratulations, Rafia. It's nice that you're back on board again. And anyway, I'm adding to the pile. Recently at Makalea, I'm on the front lines. Most of you know where I live. The people, the younger generation is going down there and doing on the lawn. They're placing big blankets, and basically what these chicks are doing is they're selling all their clothes to somebody else, and that's cool. But they are exchanging money. The second thing is that the excessive moped use. I know that HPD is doing their absolute best. I know this, but it is getting out of control. We sounded the alarm 2.5, 3 years ago about this, and it's getting worse. Half of the grass on the right side when you enter the park is all dirt now because they're parking them alongside of Mr. Wong's fence. It's excessive. What we need there, a solution is very simple. What we need to do is put a sign right there at the entrance at eye level, not the one there saying no motorized vehicles. Lastly, there are yoga groups that are going down there and pretty much taking up the park in the evening hours. While I love yoga, I do it myself. These people have showed a very subtle level of contempt for anyone trying to, walk through or, traverse the park. Lastly, there has been talk amongst the local people that go down here, that go to that park on a daily basis and are dealing with this influx of these people doing this thing. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing. It's great. But the point is that there's benches down there that are being donated by private people, private organizations, and the yoga people are getting very annoyed at the fact that the park is being used for other things. To point it out at the very bottom of Makalei to the Diamond Head side, looking towards Cocoa Head, there's two benches that are going up there. One of them is already there. The other one is in progress. The concrete was just laid, but these people, they want to make this their own park. And I would normally ever shout out like this, and I appreciate you all listening, but this park is for everyone. And we just need to stop the insane traffic going in there. At nighttime, it's crazy around here. There's a lot of problems, and please forgive me if I've gone on too long, but I say this with love, gracious, and pono with each and every one of you. We have a problem brewing down here. And I think it's very important that this be said. Makalei Beach Park, through social media, has become, the drive-in on Friday night, for a better lack of words. And it's not getting better. I suggest that we contact the DLNR and ask them to put a sign up there, a official sign, federal sign saying seals rest here. They do. They come up there, and this generation they do not understand the sacredness that we all in this room, on this airline right now, they don't understand it. And I am at the point where I believe the DLNR needs to be a part of this park, because the seals do rest there. We need to make sure that people aren't buying and selling things down there, i.e. their blankets with all their clothing, etc., so on and so forth. And then most of all, they don't like the fact that the grass is being built up with benches that community organizations within the city and county of Honolulu will afford. Mr. Welch, I appreciate your time in this matter. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, Noella. Yes, ma'am.
This is clearly a city parks department issue, and they are not taking care of what has been designated as their jurisdiction. There has been this very dangerous traffic problem on the blind curve. There have been mopeds parking in there. It goes on and on. Now we're hearing about yoga groups trying to take over the park away from regular park users. And how much more has to be tolerated? I think we need the director of the Department of Parks and Recreation at our meeting. We've been asking for her to be here, to no avail. It's time to either write a resolution to that effect or make a formal call. And if she's unresponsive, then we go to the managing director and ask him to be here along with her.
That sounds like a good topic to bring up with Director Crucky tonight, because it sounds like DLNR actually would be the seals, wouldn't they? That's not the
Yes,
city.
that would be this.
Right. So we got, it looks like a flea market, illegal parking lots, and seal
Okay,
harassment.
and I want to add, there's a health issue here too. There's hundreds of young adults at this park every weekend, every day and night, and there is no bathroom anywhere near that area. So you can imagine what's going on, and it is a health issue. And we do have muck seals that frequent Makalei Park recently almost every day. So it's a real issue.
Hey, is Director Crucky online? Because maybe he heard some of these things, and if not, then okay, yes.
Can I?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. I just wanted to give an update from DTS that they were making that an always stop on the corner or the intersection of Makalei, Park and Diamond Head Road.
Yeah.
Just as a
That's-
reminder.
right.
So if someone
Something-
did listen, there's still much more to do,
Right.
and the backs are
Something
very
that has
concerned.
come out of the community. Yes, is the stop. Good point.
Yes. So I guess the comment is something is happening, but let's keep the momentum going.
Yep.
Because the attention is starting to get there.
Fair enough.
So yes.
Thank you, Board Member Knight. Okay, and with that, I don't see anybody else online with this, so we'll move into presentations. We have one from.
Something real quick, if I can.
Oh yes, Mr. Rosman.
I was watching the Fiji concert just on the traffic cams, and I saw that there's no traffic cams Diamond Head of Kapahulu Avenue. And I think possibly putting some traffic cams on Diamond Head Road would help at least visualize some of the issues there so that everyone can see exactly what is going on when it's going on, and maybe help identify if it's 2 or 3 vehicles, you can see the plates. You can go after the people. So putting traffic cams, if the bumps or whatever the solutions that are not feasible aren't feasible, traffic cams might just shine a light on exactly what is going on in that area.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Chad.
Hey guys, I only want to take like maybe 1 minute of your time on this one, but this is my concern. I don't know. I know some of you guys live a little closer to Kapahulu Park than I do, but there was this headline out of Hawaii News Now, a Rainbow Tours helicopter making an emergency landing in Kapahulu Park. Anyway, that might have been something to see, but this is just a little project that I want to work on while I'm a member of the board. I have a big concern about aircraft noise and safety. Obviously, I don't like these things grinding above my house all day, but I'd be really terrible if one of these fell on one of our houses too. So I know y'all have been working on this for a long time, but if you could kind of point me in the direction of who to talk to and who to connect with about the aircraft issue, I'd love to get in on that.
I thank you for that, Chad, and I think you will find a willing accomplice with Ms. Matson, who's been following this for many years. So I encourage you to chat together later.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we have a presentation from the City and County of Honolulu Arborist Advisory Committee, update on the Exceptional Tree Program from Miles Ritchie, PhD. Dr. Ritchie, are you online, or did I not see you here? Okay. And you might need your okay, I see, you're on mute.
He's here.
There, it might not be as clear. It's coming from the webcam instead of here. Can you still hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for that little bit of technical difficulty. So let me just try and share my screen real fast. Fingers crossed this will work. Okay, can you see the PowerPoint?
Yep.
Yes, great. And is it advancing?
Yep.
Great. Okay, cool. As Chair Welch just said, so my name is Miles Ritchie. I'm the chair of the Arborist Advisory Committee for the City and County of Honolulu. And today I'm going to quickly be going over what is known as Hawaii's Exceptional Tree Program, but with a focus on Oahu. So hopefully at the end of this, you might know of some trees that might be worth nominating, and happy to help with that process so we can get more of these trees on the list and protect them. So just real fast, Hawaii's Exceptional Tree Program began in 1975 when the state legislature passed Act 105, which mandated the 4 counties to have a mayor-appointed Arborist Advisory Committee to receive nominations for what are known as exceptional trees, or trees of exceptional characteristics that are worthy of preservation indefinitely for the rest of their life. Now, what is an exceptional tree? So to be qualified for an exceptional tree, a tree must comprise one or more of these 7 selection criteria. So that's historic or cultural value, age, rarity, location, size, aesthetic quality, and endemic status. Now, a tree of exceptional status, an exceptional tree, can be an individual specimen or can be in a grove. A great example of a grove is actually the monkey pods on Kapiolani Avenue from the Convention Center all the way to King Street. That whole strip on both sides of monkey pods actually got put on as exceptional trees back in 2019. So, and also actually in your area, the Pocky Avenue monkey pods are also a grove of exceptional trees. So, yeah, individual trees, groves. And the main reason, the emphasis why that 1975 bill was passed was due to a noticeable loss of iconic trees, predominantly in the Honolulu area. So legal protections were afforded to these trees. As I mentioned before, they cannot be removed once they receive this exceptional designation until they die, or only caveat being if they're a threat to public safety or they somehow lose that exceptional trait that put them on the list in the first place, which is very, very rare. And then in 2004, to try and incentivize more of these trees on private property, because to have a tree go for exceptional status, if it's on public property, anybody can nominate it. If it's on private property, anybody can still nominate it, but you need the homeowner's permission, their signature on that nomination form to progress the nomination process. So to try and get more of these exceptional trees on private property, a $3,000 tax deduction every 3 years per exceptional tree for maintenance purposes was provided. And that's been a pretty big boost for these trees. So some problems right now, and this is why I'm here, is that we have an aging exceptional tree population. A lot of these trees that were put on in 1975 and right afterwards, they're pretty old, and most of them were already old when they went on that list in the first place. So when you have an aging exceptional tree population and the development that we're seeing across the island, you have the reduced space and less than ideal conditions for trees to even achieve exceptional qualities now and down the road. These two things are becoming problematic. So without this pipeline of exceptional trees in the works, which is we're starting to work on the kind of development and other stuff. The key right now, the short-term solution, is to get more nominations so that we can recognize these trees and then start to preserve them for the rest of their life. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the program, always happy to chat about it. The Outdoor Circle, my other hat here, the programs director for the Outdoor Circle. So I've been working on this program for a while with them, but the Outdoor Circle website has some fantastic step-by-step processes, what the program is, more in depth of what I've been able to do today, but then a step-by-step process with each of the forms. And the form will take probably 3 to 5 minutes to fill out. It's really, really easy. And just so you can kind of see what's going on here and how it's kind of distributed statewide, with a zoom in on Oahu in a second, but just take a quick look at this real fast. You'll notice that there's pukas everywhere, right? So you'll have hot spots of these exceptional trees and then exceptional tree deserts. So this is something we're trying to remedy and get these statewide and island-wide. But moving down to the Oahu side, look at it here. You really do see that pocket side where the whole west side of the island, there's no more exceptional trees. There was an ear pod there at Waianae, and that died a few years ago. So aside from the military bases in the center of the island, one ear pod in Wailua, and then a few up at Waimea Botanical Gardens, there's no other ones. The trees are out there. They just need to be nominated. So with the help of getting the public involved, letting them know about these trees, the program exists, the tax credits are there. Hopefully we can start to fill this map in a lot more than it currently is. And just, even more of a snapshot for your guys' area, the Waikiki area, I know it's a little outside your district, but Manoa, Waikiki, Honolulu's downtown area is pretty good. But once you get into the Kapahulu, Waialae, even over towards, Kahala, there's not that many. So, but the trees are there. So hopefully with your help, we can, fill this in a little bit. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there questions for Dr. Ritchie? Samuel?
Yeah, I remember visiting family in Europe and seeing cypress, just lines of cypress that were back from the Roman era, that were on each side of the road. What do you find to be the biggest detriment to the trees and cause early, tree death here in Hawaii?
Yeah, so it depends specifically where. So the main thing obviously is going to be developmental pressures, as I've said. If a tree has, look at Kapiolani Park, right? You can get the Moreton Bay figs there, the Ficus benjaminus, the Indian banyans. They're all fantastic specimens. A lot of those are actually on the exceptional list, but it's because they have the space and the time to actually get to that age, the size. If you're looking at the historical aspect, that kind of goes hand in hand with age. So I think the biggest thing right now is people removing trees, whether it's public or private land, prematurely and not providing enough space for newly planted trees to ever get to that space. But I think it's just getting people on board, letting them know that these trees represent some incredible cultural and historical aspects, right? It doesn't have to be the largest tree. There's so many amazing components and recognition aspects for this program that we just want to get it out there and try and maybe, tilt the scale a little more to some tree lovers out there. They provide so many benefits to us beyond just aesthetics, right? You have the ecosystem service benefits they provide. You have the economic benefits they provide in terms of cooling and shading and property value increases. So the exceptional tree program is a great way to actually get, hopefully, the urban forestry lovers out there on board. But anyways, development is the answer right there.
And Laura, Ruby?
I'm kind of stuck. Okay, very quickly. I have advocated for the monkey pilots to be continued along Kapiolani up all the way up to Wailai. And I meet with resistance from the developers, like the 43-story building. I said green setbacks. It would be really helpful if there was a ordinance or a law or incentive to do that for all different identified different roads. Sorry for the double speak here.
Yeah, there's definitely having some, ordinances that might be. We're getting a little bit of feedback.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so that's an important point, right? Making sure there's ordinances in place to provide those trees, right? To make sure there's setbacks for these trees, so homes aren't going straight up to the sidewalk. Like, there's ways to go about. I'm not anti-development in any way. Like, we definitely need places to live, but there's smart ways to go about doing it where you can get both together and have complementary benefits in doing so. So I know the county, not anything I'm personally working on. But there was a bid that went out recently, and once again, a company from the mainland was awarded it. But they're looking at kind of revamping the city and county's urban forest ordinances, and I think that might be a part of it. But I'll definitely be sure to bring that back as part of the Arborist Advisory Committee to Urban Forestry, and let them know that that's something the community is interested in to try and get these trees there. Because I agree, it would be fantastic if they could continue up that way. It would make the whole character of the place look great. You'd have shade. It's very important.
Yeah, this is Arlene again. I just want to add to what you're saying about the building permits. It also involves the city council and their approval of a lot of these developments. And they're approving a lot of these developments using the governor's Emergency Affordable Housing Act, which eliminates already a lot of good things, I think, that, would require open spaces, permeable surfaces, those kind of things. And setbacks. So we need to get them involved in this as well, because it does affect everyone. The asphalt, the minute that sun comes out and hits asphalt, it feels a good 10 degrees hotter.
Are there other questions for Mr. Ritchie? Yes, Ms. Matson.
I think another big destructive force is the invasive species that have sort of taken over the islands. And the coconut rhinoceros beetle goes without saying. We're losing our palms, but we also lost willy trees and beautiful, even exceptional trees down near the Capitol building. So I'd like to get more updates on the progress that is being made with getting rid of the invasive species.
Yeah, so happy to come back as I hear more about that from the tree side. I think it would be advantageous to have somebody from the Invasive Species Council come in and give updates as well. They would definitely know firsthand and better about that. But that is a very important thing. CRB is a massive problem. And for those who don't know, it's not just going to attack coconut trees. It's not just palm trees. There's a whole bunch of palm trees, but it also goes after papaya, taro. They're saying all of these different species, really important tree species, whether they're food crops, whether they're culturally, extremely important, or just important specimens throughout our society, they're being taken out at an alarming rate. So yes, invasive species is a very big issue. So I'll do what I can to report back. But yeah, Invasive Species Council people would be fantastic to have as well.
Can you take back something to the Arborist Advisory Committee too? I noticed that in our area and much of our area, I mean, we have Kapiolani Park and the golf course, which surprisingly doesn't have many trees if you look at it from Google Earth. But as far as the place where the houses are here in Kapahulu area and most of this area, we're between 0 and 7% maximum tree canopy coverage. And the canopy, I think the mayor had a 30% canopy coverage by 2030. But we're not seeing any movement here. So how do we get trees put back in these neighborhoods? How do we mandate that? And how does the city work with, I don't know, in the wider streeted areas, like on Lukipani or something where it's a very wide street, maybe bump out the sidewalks and have a protected tree wells. I don't know. But if you could bring that back as to, when you're talking about those laws or the codes being updated, that we have to find a way to re-tree these areas that have no trees anymore in Honolulu.
Yeah, I can definitely bring that back. And just, to leave you guys with something interesting, Paris, the city of Paris has done some incredible work lately. If you want to, check it out on your own time, they've taken back various underutilized parking spaces and made them into greenways where they planted a ton of trees, made them walking paths, bike paths, and you can actually see now the difference that it's having in terms of the temperature of the city, the pollution rates, people's happiness. So the physiological and psychological benefits are immense. And that's only in just a few short years. So that maybe we can incorporate something here. I don't know, but that would definitely be something interesting to look at.
Say it again. Noella, go ahead. Did you have something?
Really quickly, thank you, Mr. Ritchie, for such a good presentation. Just as a citizen that roams between, where I live in kind of Kapahulu area, Diamond Head area, and I go to Longs, there's a route that a lot of people take, and it's right past Diamond Head Theater. So anyway, in the last, I'd like to say 3 years, I noticed that there's that big white house when you get to the top of the hill at Kilauea. And there was a big palm tree there. And over the last 2 years, I watched that thing be decimated. Now, I was driving by there the other day and they have cut it down and the stump is exposed. But I have noticed on that hill from Kapiolani Community College down through Kahala, I believe this is a very important area to keep a very sharp eye on. And once again, thank you for your input on this. And that stump in that yard where the big white house is at the top, it's right there. And I was wondering, the way they've taught it to everybody is that it's not on top, it's underneath. So, can you clarify that, please, sir?
You're referring to CRB?
Yes.
The coconut rhinoceros beetle. So the actual beetle will do the damage in the tops of the palms, right? So it goes up, and then where the new shoots are coming out, the new leaf is going to be coming out, the palm leaf. That's where they'll actually go. They'll burrow in, and then they'll actually destroy the inside of the tree and get rid of the vascular system. The ground is where they, in mulch, any kind of debris that's on the ground is where they'll actually reproduce. So that's where that becomes problematic. But where they do the damage to the tree is up in the actual top. So that's why netting is an effective way, one of the more effective ways that they've found so far. UH is doing a bunch of research on this right now. But when you put netting in a tree that's low to the ground, okay, you can maintain it because you still have to remove them and you stop them from actually getting in with that physical mechanism. When you have really, really tall palm trees, that's not really feasible. So what do you do in that instance? And there's all these things going on. So ground is for reproduction and then spreading the pest, and then the actual damage is done up wherever the tallest section of the tree is.
Thank you. And Chad?
Hey, Mr. Ritchie, this is Chad talking. I had 2 questions for you, and maybe you could come back with us later. But one, I've noticed in my neighborhood, a lot of the park strips are just getting eliminated altogether. Like the curb is cut out and the entire frontage of the house is turned into concrete. So there's not even an option for the trees. You get a couple of these houses together and it's a really unpleasant landscape to walk through if we're trying to build a walkable community in that. Do you know if anything with DPP and about the park strips and the removal of the park strips? It removes a lot of community parking as well when these homes remove the curb and the gutter and everything, the park strip in front of their house. That's one of my questions, if DPP has anything regarding that. And then the second one, I've had some neighbors that had some beautiful trees in their park strips and on their property, and they cut them down. And they told me it's because the homeowner's insurance will no longer cover for trees on the property or tree damage related to the house. Have you heard anything about that?
So for your first question, I'm not too familiar. So that I know Chair Welch has kind of dealt with the monster home aspect quite a bit. So I can't really comment on that aspect. But I do agree, going around town, you do see a lot of space. This is what I'm referring to before, right? There's the very minimal amount of space, those small strips between the curb and then somebody's property, those are being even removed. And they were, 2-3 feet, and they're trying to put in some bigger trees. So those need to be bigger, obviously. They are disappearing completely. But in terms of the insurance, I can't comment on that. I know if you look on the mainland, you're hearing issues. This is anecdotally, right? I haven't seen it firsthand, but there'll be satellite imagery. A insurance company will look to see if there's trees overhanging the roof, and that makes it more expensive, or they want to insure it. So I anecdotally have heard it elsewhere. So I wouldn't be surprised, but the tree risk, you've seen a lot going on in the news, especially on the mainland with fires and everything like that, of tree risk, right? Very important. You can never remove, this is like the arborist kind of perspective here. You can never truly remove all risks associated with trees, but more often than not, what I've been seeing is that people seem to maybe they're blowing it out of proportions, and it's not as risky as. So the way to do that is just to make sure that you have a qualified arborist with something called TRAQ, TRAQ. It's a special sub-certification. It's a risk assessment qualification from the International Society of Arboriculture. They come in, they know what they're doing, they're very experienced, and they can tell you point blank what the risk is on a scale and what the recommended action should be, and things like that. So instead of jumping the gun, I think that everybody really should have one of these qualified arborists look at their trees before just removing them outright. And if that happens, that I don't know, but it might be a way to go to your insurance company and say, hey, I had a qualified professional do this. Maybe they won't raise the prices. I don't know, but it could be something to look into. I'm gonna research a little bit about that on my own, because that is a great topic, because it is a common problem that you're seeing in a lot of places. So thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you. And Laura?
In our apartment building, we have to be careful not to let the trees touch the building, and that's part of the insurance process. So we do cut Dracaena back and other things so that they are not touching the building.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, and Samuel?
Samuel again. I had a family member who had a concern that I just remembered. There's been seemingly a lot of tree death on some of the trees in the middle, in the median on Kalani'ali Highway, like fronting Kalani High School, a little bit by Diamond Head. You just see stumps or just trees that are just being cut down to almost nothing, where they just die off. Is there any reason for that you can think of or know of?
So these are the trees in the median, you said?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. I don't know specifically. Yeah, having gone past, yeah. So Margaret brought up an interesting point. No watering. If there's no irrigation with the droughts we've been having, that could be pretty substantial. This is just speculation, but they weren't palms, right? They were mostly, I think there's rainbow showers there and maybe some ficus trees, I believe.
Yeah, it's rainbow shower more towards Kahala Mall, and then I'm not sure what the trees are towards
so
Kalama Bay.
Once again speculating, but I'm pretty sure that there are ficus trees there. I think they're Chinese banyans. I have to go back and actually confirm that. So Chinese banyans are being hit pretty hard by something called a gall wasp, both a stem and leaf gall wasp, and a secondary pest called lobate lac scale. These trees throughout the state are being completely destroyed by this pest and pathogen, going back to what we were saying earlier. So most likely that's what's happening, is they're preemptively taking them down, because there are there's massive signs of dieback when these trees start to get impacted by those pests. So for safety in that instance, that's one reason I could really see them bringing those down. So drought would just, speed that process up for sure. So that's what I would assume, but without having, going and looking at it, I can't say for certain, but that seems plausible.
Thank you. And I think trees are near and dear to a lot of our hearts, but we will have to move on tonight. So
Sorry,
how do
everybody.
people get in touch with you if they want to know more about the Arborist Advisory Committee or how to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I will put my email in the chat, and then yeah, please feel free to reach out to me at any time, whether it's exceptional trees, if you just want to talk urban forestry, happy to discuss with you guys, whatever you want.
Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
And yes, ma'am.
Get copies of the chat. Are they available online?
How do we get copies of the
I
chat?
can also just say,
if
so
we're here.
for those in attendance, it's Miles with a Y, so MYLES, and we'll just use the work one here. So it's at Outdoor Circle, all one word, .org.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but to the question,
To answer the question,
there's
do
several
save
comments
chat?
in the chat about different things that sometimes we need to pick up on.
I can send it to you.
Okay, yeah. Curtis can send that to you. But for general record, yeah, are we keeping that somehow with the recordings? It's not published. So,
Miles, putting your contact information, please, in the chat.
Yep, all done. It's in there.
and Miles' email will be included in the meeting minutes, but it's a good question, Michelle. Maybe we could talk about that a little bit later. And with that, we have another presentation tonight. So, and that is from the Clark, well, I believe it was the Clark Hatch Bark Park with Jordan Lee, Hillary Hamilton, and Adam Kurtz. And we got some sad news that Clark Hatch had passed away. Maybe you tell us about that. But yeah, instrumental place for lots of people, lots of aloha in that park. So have that and tell us about the Bark Park.
Aloha, thank you for having all of us here. My name is Jordan Lee. I'm the president of the board for the Honolulu Bark Park, or sorry, the Clark Hatch Bark Park. And we're proudly a volunteer-run local nonprofit. And yeah, it was definitely a huge project for Clark Hatch. It was founded in 1997, and it is really the oldest dog park in Hawaii, and also it relies really on purely volunteer help from community members, board members, and also uses all funding for really maintenance and beautification of the park and the green space. If you don't know where we are located right along Diamond Head Road, right by KCC, and with a beautiful corner space. What makes us so special? What makes us so special is it's a huge dog run space with shaded trees, seating for everyone. It really is open to the community at large within not only the Kaimuki neighborhood, but Honolulu and Oahu. It's providing a safe hub for our community, for our dog community, pet community, as well as creating more so just a place where we can have connection as well as a safe place for our pets to be in the neighborhood. But our biggest challenge really is that most don't realize that we are not a municipal park. Our biggest request really today is to acknowledge Clark Hatch and to really help to honor his memory by really more so renaming the park itself to Clark Hatch Bark Park. And then also to our additional biggest request is going to be more so to keep us in mind when you have more conversations about local dog parks here in our neighborhood and community. We really are, it is a labor of love, and it is run purely by volunteers. And then also to, we run on a shoestring budget, and we really rely on these contributions by individuals to help beautify our spaces, as well as to maintain just this community presence.
I think Jordan said it very well. If you could go back a slide, please. Yeah. So we do have a video that I think it would be nice to watch. This is Clark Hatch in his own words. This video was produced by Hawaii News Now in 2019 when he was presented with a Kapuna Achiever Award. The video is a link to YouTube, so hopefully we'll open here and for everyone who's watching remotely. But absolutely, I think Clark could say it best. And while we're doing that, I'll just mention that Clark worked to found this park in 1997. A big part of the reason people don't realize that it is not a municipal park is because Clark kind of paid for it this whole time. And so donations were collected, but they almost never met the need. And Clark just quietly took care of it as a gift to the community, along with other gifts. Again, if we're able to open that YouTube video, that's where
it's not. Yeah, we're unable to get the video working, so maybe unless.
Yeah, maybe we can go to youtube.com/BarkParkHonolulu.
YouTube/
Oh, it is an
youtube.com/BarkParkHonolulu. Okay, and in the meantime, do we have any questions?
Well, I'd actually like to ask Hillary to speak. Hillary Hamilton has been the steward of the park since the 90s and is somewhat more qualified than I am.
Sure. So Clark Hatch was a phenomenal philanthropist who really loved Honolulu and Diamond Head where he lived. And he walked his dog Buster by where the location is for the park now. And he spent several years proposing to get the lease for the land because he wanted a community for the fur families that we all have. And that often gets disregarded. And so when he did acquire the lease from DLNR, he paid for the fencing and the water hookup himself. And volunteers came to be able to put in the grass, put in the seating, and it has become a place where people can come and enjoy their fur family, network, and it's really a wonderful place for the community to come together. And he did so many things on Diamond Head. I think it's the Brian, what's his name? Brian Clark, Brian Clay. And so he put in the exercise machines on Diamond Head. He had teams working on Diamond Head for beautification. You have it going? Oh. Okay, so really we want to keep in mind that this man did so much, and then having this space for the community to come together is a commemoration of all that he gave, because he had a really big heart and he shared it with the community. So I hope you'll keep that in mind, because I know that it's easy for planning to come into, action. And we want to be sure that there is an acknowledgement of the value that he contributed and that what it's doing for the public there. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Okay, maybe we can get the video going.
Is there audio? Yes, there's audio. It might need to be unmuted on the music page itself. Way back. It's not even like. There is a WebEx. And while we're figuring out the audio, I'm going to do a tap dance.
Oh, I think maybe we got it.
Okay, I think. Yeah. This is why we have young people. I'm on the precipice of not being useful here.
I'm Clark Hatch. I'm the self-proclaimed ambassador to Diamond Head. I take care of the Nawapaka, and I help state parks maintain some of the pathway, and we have an exercise park there that I donated, and we have a dog park that I donated. Along Diamond Head Road, there's a whole mile of Nawapaka plants, and we eradicate the invasive species. We pull out all of the halicoa and weeds. And on the exercise side, we have 10 stations over across from Kapahulu Community College. We make sure that the machines work and people can use them anytime. And the dog park, of course, we have to take care of that, and that means picking up the poop and making sure it's clean and sanitary and people have fun coming there. Well, I think all of us should contribute to our community, and this way I'm able to pass on my experiences with exercise and good health, and also my love for animals. I love dogs. So, well, fitness has been my way of life, not only for physical fitness, but for my business. And I started out in Tokyo in 1965 with the very first fitness center for international business people in Tokyo. And that led to my success and popularity there. And then I expanded to 13 countries in Asia, where we were the real pioneer in starting the fitness club business. Well, I think the youth today are very, very fortunate in all this new technology, but none of these gets them outside. Got to be outside several times a day, enjoy nature, do some activities. People are getting so confined to doing all these things, reading their emails and things indoors. This is the best place in the world. The weather is great. It's a beautiful place. The iconic Diamond Head is a wonderful place to visit and to climb. Just get out and enjoy it while you have the opportunity to do so.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Do we have questions, comments? And thank you for Board Member Miranda for bringing this group to our attention. And go ahead, Rafael.
You have a membership, any charge or any entry fee? Just donation.
Yeah, just to repeat that into the microphone. Well, no, for the folks who are on the call, because there's quite a lot of people here.
So the park is free and open to the public. We take donations because we are a nonprofit, so it's all run by donation and volunteers.
Other questions for our presenters, Darlene?
Yes, do you know how long your lease is?
So we renewed the lease, was it 2016? Or more recently? I think we have like another decade on this thing. And I could get you the exact number afterwards.
Okay, I was just, I wouldn't want to lose it. So I was.
Thank you. Yeah, yes, we are here because we share the same concern. I think the gift of Clark Hatch was that he took care of the park. And that's what's difficult with his passing is that, he took with him his connections, the loyalties that he had in local statewide government, and certainly the financial backing. And so we have had to work very quickly, in the time since he's left. It is an incredibly small group. We're a volunteer board. Volunteer group is not the kind of nonprofit where anyone is receiving anything. I would say that actually board members are our top donors. And I think Hillary's been buying poop bags for about 20 years. So we share that concern. I think part of the issue is because we're free and we don't want to change that. I don't think we'd want to charge a membership ever, but people kind of take us for granted. And when I attended a park subcommittee meeting, maybe a month or two ago, Park was mentioned as an aside, as part of the conversation about the need for spaces for dogs. And the comment made was really positive. It was something to the effect of, well, Bark Park is doing a great job. And I sat there quietly thinking, if you only knew how hard we're working and how close it sometimes feels financially, we really do need, I think, more support than the public realizes. Fundraising efforts have increased in the last 2 years. We have an annual calendar project. We did bring a few copies of the 2026 calendar. This has really helped us solicit donations. Again, we hesitate to ask for big handouts because we don't need it. Our operating budget is quite small. We really need 12 to 15,000 a year for our modest costs. Oh yeah, Hillary's got plenty. They're adorable. It's all volunteer. And these paper materials help us ask better. It helps us start a conversation. Hey, did you know that the oldest dog park in Hawaii is not a municipal park? Yeah. And I just want to also mention that Jordan Lee, who's here, is our new president of the board, is also the owner of the public pet shop on Waila Avenue and one of the creators of the Keep It Kaimuki campaign. So it's very active in our local community, supporting not just dogs and animals, but also small business owners. I'm one of the small business owners that he's been rooting for. So the entire Bark Park crew is not just scrappy, but also deeply embedded in the local community. In fact, I think some of us know each other through our pets.
And can you, yeah, it's very modest budget to run the park. Have we applied for grants from the city, or has the city said, actually, because you're functioning effectively as a city park?
We haven't, and I don't know if we'll need to. There's some discussion about the pros and cons of applying for grants. We just got the same accountant to work with us, so we have to be careful based on our status as a nonprofit, right? So.
Yes, and just to add a little more to that, the way that we're registered as a nonprofit and the way our taxes are worked out, we actually don't want to raise too much. It's easier not to, and we don't need it. I think that's a thing about Bark Park, and a thing about Clark Hatch was to do good kind of quietly. I don't even know if he'd want us to put his name on the park, but too bad. You know, we did make a promise to him that we were going to keep it going. So yeah, we aren't necessarily even looking for too much. It's more about public opinion and being kept in mind, because I know the work that you all do here is so on top of the parks and plans and the ecology. And this is a beautiful green space with some very old trees and much needed just free green space. It's harder and harder to find. And yeah, we could really use your help in supporting and defending it.
And I would say the one thing that we're saying about keep us in mind is that I know that you are the neighborhood board that are involved in planning. And I know that there are other people who may have plans, and we just would like it to be acknowledged what he contributed and the value of this green space for the community, because often plans get in motion and we have no ability to affect them, and we may not be aware of what they're doing. And so we just want it to be in mind how valuable Clark Hatch was and the space itself.
But thank you. Yeah, it's definitely such a powerful, positive community member. Just as an aside, our board has also requested that the city make the entrance here to the Alawai in that patch across from was that the Hihing restaurant complex, right here at the beginning, into a dog park as well, because the pressures, of course, on the Bark Park are huge, and we don't have enough spaces as well. The city has asked us also for our parks committee to call a meeting to look at additional areas for inside of our district for on leash park activities, in addition to this one as well here. So that's something that we will ask Chair Miranda to do.
Since the Bark Park was the very first dog park that he he brought to Hawaii, and so when people started to propose other dog parks in other parts of the island, and we would go and present them and advocate for fur families, because it's so often dismissed. And at that time, we got a lot of pushback, people saying we were going to steal things from children, that they only wanted to support for the children. And I understand that, but there were a lot of spaces that had space, and many of the people here in Hawaii, your fur family is your family. So
100%. Yeah. Go ahead.
And just to add to that, I think Bark Park is unique for several reasons. First of all, the size of the dog park, the water fountain, there are trees and benches to sit. A lot of city parks don't have much seating, or if they do, it's not shady, and so it's hard to stay. So Bark Park does serve our immediate community, and I am a homeowner in Kapahulu. This is my neighborhood. But people come from all over the island specifically for those amenities. There are people who drive 40 minutes every Sunday because this is a place where they can sit and be with their pet. And, you know, the pet can not just be fenced in, but truly roam and run. And so when we are talking about, you know, this new proposed location for another park, even if that does happen, and I know that most of the folks at that last meeting didn't necessarily think that was the best. I may or may not agree. I'm not on this board. But losing Bark Park would certainly put a lot more pressure on spaces like this. I think Bark Park relieves so much pressure, and maybe it's just not clear how dicey that sometimes feels on our end.
I think this board passed the resolution unanimously, if I'm not mistaken. So we get no objection here. And just an aside, that that Bark Park has profoundly affected my life in a positive way. I've had lifelong friendships come out of it, and it's just not the dogs that make friends; it's the humans too. Very important for community connection. And I think I saw your poodle in one of the. Yes, yes. Okay. Well, yeah. Are there any other questions or comments, Mr. Miranda?
Do you guys also need volunteers? Can we donate time?
I would say yes and no. Sometimes we need volunteers. Other times it feels like we have a lot of volunteers and no money. But I think the biggest thing that we could really ask of you is to help us formally honor Clark. I think we're really good at being scrappy, but we don't necessarily have the formalized inroads that this group does. But you're also always welcome to come hang.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming tonight and sharing about the park.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, and just as an aside, it is 7:38, just as a time check, and we have a couple of resolutions for us. Okay, first we have a resolution on the pesticide usage and hazards to human health. We had a presentation last month, I believe. Was it just last month? And yeah, Amy, and so Arlene crafted together a pesticide resolution that's been posted on the board website. Do you want?
I was asked to review the resolution, so I did. And then I also put together the safety. I found the material safety data sheets for the pesticides, and I included that, and Curtis put it on the drive. So everyone can see what exactly those pesticides do to humans and to aquatic life. Section 12 deals specifically with aquatic life. If you're interested in that, because our Department of Agriculture is using one of a very dangerous pesticide to kill the rhinoceros beetle, and they're doing it on palm trees that are right near the water, by their ocean. And so I think it's not the best usage of that. And in the resolution, there's also mention of a organic pesticide that has been proven to be pretty effective. So yeah, I recommend everyone read it. And when Amy Peruso introduces a bill, I think all need to, it would be very much appreciated if everyone supported her efforts and let the city council know and the state legislators know that we all support this.
And would you like to make a motion to accept the resolution as written?
I would.
Do we need a second?
Can I ask
And we need a
question
second?
before the motion? Yeah, I have a point of order question.
Go ahead.
I think this is a point of order. Just to clarify, I saw in the drive for the October meeting, the breakdown of the pesticides. I did not see a resolution. So is the resolution the September resolution? Because I checked it this morning, and because there is on the agenda 2 different resos, I didn't see either in the October Google Drive.
I think something happened to the drive recently.
Okay.
Because it was on there and then it disappeared.
Yeah, because I did check it this morning.
I think you weren't alone in that, Angie.
Huh?
I think other board members had.
Okay, yeah, because I found the September one that Julia has, but I didn't know if there was a different version. And I only asked this because at Neighborhood Commission, there was a whole thing about how they didn't move the thing that we were voting on into the new folder. So I didn't know if we were allowed to vote if the thing wasn't in the
Then-
right folder.
With that, I would suggest that we postpone this until the next month.
Yes, as long as we're all aware of it and we support, the bill when it gets introduced.
Ms. Matson?
It's Representative Pruso is going to introduce a bill that centers on this, and the resolution is to develop community support for that effort. I did see on the drive a resolution that had some highlighted areas. Well,
I'm a little bit
really?
Okay.
I don't know where that came from.
I'm seeing it right here on Curtis's computer. So with that,
Right, but I also have a suggestion for the recipients, the last paragraph. They were different in the original and this draft. And I think the order of the recipients needs a little adjustment. You usually start with the governor, and then there's some important agencies, along with Board of Water Supply, and then the city council and the mayor. So maybe I could send you
that'd be great.
something.
Yeah, and given, I mean, I saw one, other people saw
There it is.
other people
That's
were
the
missing
one.
all. So I will suggest that we postpone this or defer this, whatever the correct term is, until November.
Highlighting me.
I don't know, but I would say let's work on this then for the next month and make sure it's just one version put in plenty of time in advance.
So
Yes, that's fine. And then work on it with Arlene. Okay, yeah, and yeah, just given that confusion, we don't want to have something up there that's a couple different versions out there. So we'll postpone that one then as well. Then you said the next one was having a similar issue, or did everybody have a chance to?
That was never going to be a resolution. No, it was just a presentation from, well, we could make it a resolution.
Yeah, okay, that was my misunderstanding because I thought Arlene was going to make that into a resolution.
I
So
thought when you were talking about that, sorry, I thought you were talking about the pesticide.
that one too.
Okay, all right.
As far as, okay, then, well, if All Away Bowls was not a resolution, then we can just scrap that one and move straight on.
I think it would be good to have, yes, Katie Thompson give a presentation on that.
Okay, why don't we do that then?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, let's do it.
So for the pesticide one, we're going to commit that to Arlene's to rewrite that one and make sure that it's totally copacetic, and we'll look at that one next month. I think the idea was that the representative has some support going into the legislative session, so we do have time to work on that. And with that, I guess we are on the creation of the permitted interaction group on property taxes. Bruce is not online, is he? He couldn't be. Okay. That's right. That's right. Yeah, thanks for the reminder.
But I have a question because I went to the chair and vice chair meeting with the neighborhood board, and there was a lot of discussion on forming these committees. And it said that you had to, that when you formed it, and maybe Curtis can correct me, I understood that when the day you formed it is when people would be assigned to it. And so since he's not here,
Well, he did say last month to go ahead and form it, and I think he would definitely want to be on that. So the chair. So you think we can do
is
that?
that okay to do that, Curtis? All right.
Okay. So do we need a resolution on that, or what do we need to do for that? Just a vote? Okay. Is there a motion to create a permitted interaction group on property taxes?
I'll do the motion to create oh my gosh, I was going to say a pig for property taxes with Bruce Wong as the chair of the pig.
Okay. And is there a
I second it.
And Pixie, are you? just peacing out. Okay. I think we don't need a. Okay, maybe show of hands. Everybody in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? And Margaret, you're probably going to be in favor?
In favor.
Opposed? Okay. Then that was unanimous. I don't believe there's anyone else online. Okay. Thank you. So we will, I know it's been near and dear to Bruce's heart for a while. Are there other members who would like to serve on that committee? Laura St. Dennis?
Now, if this is our only chance to get on the committee, is that correct, Curtis?
Oh, that's important. Linda Wong would like to be on. Laura St. Dennis. Arlene Velasco.
I would
I
be.
have a question. Sorry, Margaret.
Go ahead.
I know for PIG, there's a limit of board members because of sunshine. Is that correct? 7. Okay. Thank you, Curtis. Just wanted to make sure.
Yes. And if there's other, the community members who are interested in serving on this as well, then speak now. Any other folks on the board who are interested?
Anybody online?
Margaret's okay, interested, and any others? Bruce, Linda, Laura St. Dennis, Arlene Velasco, Margaret Murphy. I'm getting 5.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Members are interested in committees, and we have community members as participants on committees. Also, when there's a specific issue or question, other board members would be interested as long as it's less than a quorum. So I do not know why it is so restrictive, because I've never heard of a committee being restrictive. It's usually more open. A standing, okay. A permitted interaction would have initial members, but wouldn't, of course, when they have, do they have secret meetings or can they have scheduled meetings?
They can have meetings at.
So when they have open meetings, certainly community members can contribute comments and ideas. So it's not restrictive. Well, I think that would be.
My understanding. My understanding was that the group is established like today, and then the community members could join today, and then they could all meet and as many times as they want to come up with an idea, and then at whatever time they decide, they present to the board, and then basically it's done. That's my understanding. Right.
And I think that our permitted interaction group would certainly want the public to be active and involved and make plenty of notice when they're going to meet, would be my hope.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so we're okay with that one. Ms. Velasco?
Yes, Curtis, so this group, it can invite the public to the meeting? Okay.
Not posted agendas or posted agendas, both are okay, but let's hope they post this agenda since it is community announcements. Can be announced at a board meeting. Exactly. Or they could send it to Curtis in advance if they want to. Right. Okay. Very good. Then Bruce will be happy with that. And it's an important topic. We have the next idea, which is the creation of a new committee focused on public safety and disaster preparedness to be separate from Traffic, Transportation, and Public Safety Committee. And that if it's approved, let's have new committee members. Appointment, Ms. Matson.
There's a little confusion here. Traffic and Transportation is one major community interest. Public safety is another major community interest. The new hot button issue is disaster preparedness. For fires, floods, hurricanes, we've seen blocked roads, tsunamis. And so that's how that erupted. So the idea here is to have a standing committee for public safety and a standing committee for traffic and transportation. It's not to say you can't have public safety issues that are traffic issues, but public safety is more encompassing. It covers a wider spectrum. And so my recommendation would be to maintain the chair of the transportation, traffic and transportation committee, and designate a new public safety committee with its own chair.
Okay, so essentially we've got, these have been, it's a giant committee now, but public safety and disaster preparedness. And at the neighborhood commission office, Larry Verrey is heading up a tsunami disaster preparedness training, and he's looking for people who would be interested to serve on that as well from our neighborhood board, Larry Verrey. So that would absolutely fall under this sort of designation. Public safety could be matters of, police or even homeless or fires on Diamond Head, those sorts of things. So this is just the impetus behind this, is to separate this out from the current one, which is, we have a title of traffic, transportation and public safety. So just making a separate committee, and Ms. Mattson has recommended that right now we have co-chairs of traffic, transportation. Sadie, can you open the chat to see what Margaret is? Yeah, so Margaret and Angie Knight are our co-chairs of that. So maybe we could split that off. I don't know if you're interested in one of those more than the other, Angie, like a public safety and disaster.
I don't know what the process is. I do know that I recently scheduled a meeting for DTS to do with transportation and traffic. So I would actually defer to Margaret, as she was chair before we became co-chairs. So
Okay.
I defer to her.
As Margaret becoming the chair of traffic and transportation.
Her
Yeah,
suggestion of
I
how to
would
move
like to
forward.
be, I would like to split up public safety and, all of that is so huge right now. And
Okay, would you be
disaster
amenable to being the
preparedness.
chair of
And I
that,
think that Angie
Margaret?
would be perfect for that because she's in charge. She knows inside and out the homeless. And she was talking, she wanted to talk about, the escape routes for different neighborhoods and things like that. And it's too much for me. I would be happy to split up and do traffic and public safety.
Traffic and transportation. Okay, and how does
Yeah.
that sound for you, Angie?
I have a clarifying question. For the way that it is on the agenda, it's traffic, transportation, and public safety. Do we need to have public safety in both committee names? Is this gonna get real confusing real fast? Okay.
It's traffic.
No.
So if you read it, it
So it's
says,
traffic and transportation
Correct.
committee.
yeah,
And then
public safety and disaster preparedness is
Yeah,
the second.
you did that and I'll do that.
Okay.
this. Okay, because you're the best. And I am so, I'm just, I have.
Thank you,
certain-
Margaret. That's very sweet. Okay, so you take.
I
Okay,
have certain interests. And
Okay, so
a lot of it is the traffic and transportation.
okay, so I think the idea is, if I'm correct, I'm just repeating so we're all on the same page. Margaret would like to be chair of Traffic and Transportation Committee. I would split and be of the Public Safety Committee.
Yeah.
And so the question presented to the board, would you like that?
Correct, right. And Michelle has a further clarification that we just drop the disaster preparedness from public safety and just have it be included, right, as just a part of that.
Yeah,
It's a big part of public safety.
because it's so big, that, and you're perfect for handling that. I'm not, but I'm big on traffic.
Okay.
And we just got,
Yes.
just a FYI, you guys, we just in Waikiki got rid of the red express lane for the buses and bikes.
Okay,
And
so
there was, crazy traffic.
do we have more
Traffic is my
conversation
big thing.
about splitting this committee into two pieces?
Yep.
Okay, so I guess we have a motion? Okay. I will go ahead, Velasco, Ms. Velasco, do you want to, or, yeah,
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we form these two separate committees. One being traffic and transportation led by Margaret and as the chair, and then one public safety led by Angie Knight.
okay. We have a motion, a second. Ms. Mattson, okay. Any discussion on this? Anyone in the public? Okay, then with a show of hands, can we, all in favor of splitting these committees? Is there any, yes, unanimous, and Margaret, I take it you're in favor? Okay, so unanimously passed. So we have some members right now of the committee for both of them listed here on the back of our agenda on page 3. We had, just to get this hammered out right now, we had Arlene, Michelle, Julia, Samo, Bruce Wong as part of the Traffic and Transportation and Public Safety Committee as it currently exists. Who would like to take themselves off of the Traffic and Transportation, if any, or just remain on that? And then who would like to be as well on the Public Safety? Okay, let's just go one by one. Okay. Okay. Arlene off of Transportation and put on Public Safety. Okay. And Samo, same. Okay. And anyone else? Yes, madam. You would like public safety? Can you use the mic?
Yes, I'm interested in the public safety and tsunami evacuation and things like that.
Okay. And do you want to be taken up the traffic and transportation then?
I'm not on it.
Oh, you're not on it. Okay. Thank you. And Rafia?
Traffic and safety. Transportation.
I think
Traffic and
Raffia would be
transportation.
better in public with Angie.
I
own
think
personal-
Rafia can volunteer for Rafia, but also I would like to say in our recent meeting, Rafia was the only other board member who attended for the traffic
what I mean.
concern.
Yeah.
Before board,
I'm just saying.
as a community, yeah.
Yeah.
And at this point, Rafia, you just want to remain on the traffic and transportation?
Yeah, I do want to. Traffic
Okay.
and transport.
Okay. And are there any other folks who would like to join either of these at this time? And you're always welcome to come as members of the public. Okay. And Angie still would like to be part of traffic as well. Okay. As a member. Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. And with that, Angie, then maybe the folks on the Public Safety Committee, we can put you in touch with Larry Verrey about this whole tsunami disaster preparedness as well. I mean, yeah. Yes, of course. Yes, as a commissioner on the Neighborhood Commission Office. Exactly. Okay, very good. Then, okay, so the chair of Public Safety will be Angie Knight. Members Arlene Velasco, Samo, Laura St. Dennis. The chair of Traffic and Transportation will now be Margaret Murtry, with members Michelle Mattson, Julia Allen, Bruce Wong, Rafia, and Angie. correct? Okay. Thank you, folks. Okay, then. Yes, thank you, Margaret. We are moving on then to, okay, we're at City and County of Honolulu. Just a time check that it's 8. It's after 8 already. So actually T-Mobile time says 7:55, but Curtis's computer says 8:02. So that's why we were accused of stopping the meeting 2 minutes early because I was using Curtis's time. Okay, I will never let you go early. Yes, ma'am.
Were we going to entertain the resolution, the Alawai Harbor Bowls?
It's a mistaken resolution.
It's what?
We're going to have a presentation on it. Yeah, up and coming. So that was my mistake. So from the mayor's representative, Mr. Crucky, we have got a couple concerns there about Cool Lake Cliffs and whatnot. So, Mr. Crucky, I think Curtis said you were online. Oh, I see you there. Welcome.
Yes,
sir.
I am. Thank you, Chair. Are we under a time constraint? Do I need to get off air quickly?
I think we're okay.
Okay. All right. First off, I always talk about the mayor's newsletter, and I think that you guys talked about the Fiji concert, which was in the neighborhood. That's covered quite well there. Also, the new Ocean Safety Commission held their first meeting, so that's moving along. If you want to attend those are open to the public as well. We have a new Harvard Bloomberg City Hall fellow that came, and she's helping us with permitting and housing, affordable housing. Also important is the amendments to the city charter. So the Honolulu Charter Commission is taking input on things you want changed in the charter. You have to put your suggestion in by November 7th, though. So if you have that in mind, please get that in. And you've probably seen in the news the opening of the skyline to both the airport, Pearl Harbor, all the way down to Middle Street, and then kind of a refiguring of some of the bus routes around that. I would say that if both the two new committees on traffic and public safety, they should sign up for Honolulu Info, because like today I get an email or a text that tells me about an earthquake in the Philippines that did not cause a tsunami. But I would think those committee members would want to be tuned into things like that. I do have a list of things. I actually don't have answers to the irrigation line valve control box removal. I think that the dog park thing's been talked about a lot, and you've submitted a resolution, and it's been received. There at this time, there's no action that's been taken on that one. I'll find out about the valve control box. Also, going into my notes of previous questions, Arlene had brought up previously about along the Gold Coast seawall repair. And so I went and did some research on that. And really the seawall repair is not an issue of the cities. It's an issue of the owner of the building. And so you might remember like on the North Shore where people were dealing with that with sand removal and not. The Department of Planning and Permitting can issue fines. You can complain about it and an inspector can go out and issue someone fines, but it's not the buildings once they're done are not our responsibility in that area. But there are some areas for climate change that may be of interest to you. The city's got a climate change design guidelines on our websites. Also, the UH SOAS has a sea level rise viewer, which is very interesting. You can go in and do scenarios and see what areas of the island would be affected by sea level rise. And so we do take a look at that. And the state has their own department that watches those things. There were a lot of questions about transportation. I'm sorry I didn't make the Tuesday meeting. I had planned on going, but I had a family thing come up. And I'm sorry I didn't make, by the way, Chair, I didn't make last month's meeting. I was back in Washington kind of navigating the whole funding issues that are there. Anyway, there was a concern about bus route 20 and the W line. Daisy raised concerns that the W line not traveling through Chinatown and downtown Honolulu like Route 20, and what bus routes can take riders that are similar to 20. I think there are also issues with seniors using that bus route a lot. So the riders can take the bus route 42, Eva Beach, Waikiki. This route operates along the same corridors as Route 20. Waikiki Aloha Stadium between Waikiki and downtown Chinatown, except 42 doesn't serve River Street. However, Diamond Head, Kapahulu Street, St. Louis Heights residents will still be able to access River Street via Route 42 by utilizing westbound bus stop 439 North Beretania Street and Op River Street, and return home by utilizing eastbound bus 592, which is North King Street and River Street is where you pick that up. DTS is aware of the concerns, particularly the impact on Kapuna and others who depend on Route 20 for their daily commute and errands. These concerns have been shared and are taken into consideration for the next future transit modifications that are to be made. DTS is committed to designing a transit system that serves the needs of all Honolulu residents by integrating the existing bus network with the new expanding Skyline system. City buses catching fire, what was the report on that? And there was only one incident. It wasn't multiple buses. It was a bus that was delivered on March 17th. It caught on fire. It was just new and been delivered. The manufacturer defect was determined to be the cause of the fire. The damaged bus was shipped back to the manufacturer and was completely restored and was returned to Honolulu at no cost to the city. Street parking. Member raised concerns about street parking for residents in the Paki area. Why did the city residents restrict parking in the area for the Fiji concert? And then other issues on parking in the area. Attendance to the Fiji concert was anticipated to be 25 to 30,000. Due to the number of anticipated attendance, street parking in the vicinity of Kapiolani Park, including Paki Avenue and Kapahulu Avenue and Montserrat Avenue, was restricted for traffic management and to ensure first responder vehicles had access to the park. There were questions about the Beaky Bike Station relocation request. Secretary Masson, residents requested the city to remove and relocate the Beaky Bike Station on Kahaina Avenue due to the traffic congestion in the area. The residents cited that the bike station and street parking obstructed an emergency vehicle from traveling down the avenue. Raised concerns about people cutting down no parking signage in the area and asked for signage, legal parking to be put up. And then, will the city relocate that bike station? The city and county of Honolulu is dedicated to making the bicycle a bicycle-friendly city, and that vision of reality. The Beaky stations help achieve this by offering alternate modes of transportation, thereby removing vehicles from the road, lessening the need for on-street and off-street parking. The Beaky station on Kahaina Avenue is highly used, and a review of the area's traffic collision history within the past 3 years did not indicate any trends or unusual circumstances that would necessitate the need to relocate it. In addition, the staff conducted a field investigation and noted there is a parking restriction directly opposite the Beaky station. Even when vehicles are illegally parked on the Mackay side of the road, the distance between the Beaky station and an illegally parked car is at least 16 feet, which is sufficient width for an emergency vehicle to maneuver safely. As such, DTS does not recommend the removal or relocation of that Beaky station. Can HPD conduct parking enforcement on Kahaina Avenue and in the surrounding neighborhood? If so, how many warnings and citations were issued? HPD asked for extension and will gather this information and report next month. Another one on cars parked on sidewalks and nearby intersections. There is raised concerns about vehicles illegally parked on sidewalks and nearby intersections. Many parked vehicles and some boats obstructed unpaved sidewalk areas, which block pedestrians and wheelchairs from safely passing through to enter this roadway parked near intersections. Can DTS install no parking signage and paint red curbs in the neighborhood? DTS will conduct an investigation which may require research, site inspections, and analysis of the area's traffic collision history. Upon completion, the DTS will make the necessary action to address any identified needs or concerns. Your patience on this is understanding. They will conduct that study. On the HPD for enforcement piece, they asked for an extension and carry to the November meeting to report. There was another one on homeless encampments and potential shelter in the neighborhood. Treasurer Knight raised concerns about a homeless encampment growing on the Alawai Canal by the Waikiki Kapahulu Public Library. Those individuals reported assaults. Can HPD enforce park closure and trespassing for individuals who are living in this area? I would just say that, that whole area by the golf course and along the way, the state and city land, we work very closely with the state. We no longer take an excuse that that's not city or that's state. We've worked that area, and we will continue to work that area. I think you've seen by the golf course is now clean. It used to have 11 people camping there in units, blocks. Some of those have moved over by the Alawai, and I can assure you that Rory Miyahira is working that situation. I sit in the meetings and I get briefed on that regularly. Firewise Community Chair Welch asked HFD if Neighborhood Board Number 5 is designated as a Firewise community. If not, what is the process for a neighborhood to become a Firewise community? HFD, this is not under the jurisdiction of the Honolulu Fire Department. Please contact the Hawaii Wildfire Management Organization at firewise@hawaiiwildfire.org. They are the ones that do that, apparently. The state and Hawaii Department of Land and Natural Resources said, fortunately, there is information out there that helps owners take steps to protect themselves and their properties from wildfire. I think these wildfire sites and these kind of things really could be a great place for the new committee to go in and look at these places and provide some feedback to the board members and the community. That would be great. There was an old one from early in the year to request to restripe the road surface markings on Waialae Avenue. And that request happened sometime. And the response in the October 24 meeting was that they would investigate the request. Well, DTS completed the investigation of faded lane markings along the Waialae Avenue between 2nd and 4th Avenues, which included a review of their records and a field inspection. The field inspection found multiple faded crosswalks within the area of concern. As such, DTS will issue a work order to do the paint and sign work to Department of Facility Maintenance to repaint the faded sidewalks. So just as a citizen like you, I really appreciate you guys reported it. Unfortunately, it takes the city a while sometimes to get to, but they did get to it. And so the request, we received a second request on that same one, but they are planning on getting that done. So that concludes the previous questions in my report, and I have that one open item on the box that I will check out. And I saw the request earlier in the meeting to see if we could get Laura Thielen or deputy to attend a meeting. I'll try to do that. I know there was concerns about Makalei Beach Park. I don't think there's any plans for a restroom there, to be honest. Okay, Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Director Krucky. And we've got a couple of questions here. And Angie, go ahead.
Hi, Director. I just wanted to say I already told Kelly in person on Tuesday, so I don't know if you got her to come, but thank you. So we did have 3 different DTS members there on Tuesday, but I just wanted to say Waialae Ave at 2nd, 3rd, and 4th have been repainted. And I heard from some people at St. Louis schools that they are delighted that when the kids are back that they will be able to see the lines as they cross the street. And I did talk to Kelly and I think she's following it up, but we're going to get, we asked for the timeline for, I don't know the proper term for what they are, but the flashies, the push button traffic cross signals. So I do know that you guys are working on it. So thank you so much. So I wanted to first just say thank you for taking our comments very seriously. And the second one was with the opening of the Skyline, do you know which days are free fares? Is it 4 days or 2 days?
It's the weekend right after it opens.
The Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah. I'll look it up while we're talking.
Okay. Yeah, because I knew it was around it, but I thought that it opened on a Thursday. So I just wanted to know if it was free on the day it opened. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Salmo?
Hi, Director Krucky. I don't know if you heard earlier, but I had a thought about possibly resolving the issue or helping resolve the issue on Diamond Head Road. Since bumps and other mitigation measures on that road are somewhat unfeasible, what about installing traffic cameras to help shine a light on exactly what's going on? You know, help at least see what's going on there so that a proper fix can be, found further down the road.
Yes, well, last time we had a request right there, we did a study and we didn't find any things going on there. Cameras are an interesting thing. If somebody's not watching them, I don't know what it tells you. There's a lot of cameras out there. But I'll ask. I'll put that up. And by the way, the Skyline rides on Oahu on the weekend of October 19th through 20th is when you can do that. This is after the full launch on October 16th.
Thank you. And Linda?
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I'd like to make a mention that when Director Thielen was here, she said this was back a few months, that when they're talking about repairing the seawall at the Barefoot Cafe, she said that she felt that they should just get it fixed and talk about who's going to pay for it later, that being the city or the state. So you're saying that the city is not in charge of that, I think. So is that a change? And then the second thing would be the cross street of Kanaina and Montserrat, and you're talking about the Bicky station. Well, I think DTS is looking into some other mitigation at that corner for it to be more safety. So I think that would have to include looking at the Bicky station also, because somebody recommended putting a roundabout there, which I don't agree with. But if they had a roundabout, I think they'd have to move the Bicky station, or somehow it seems like it'd be too close or encroach on the intersection. Thank you.
So,
and Arlene?
so on the
Sorry,
Barefoot
go ahead.
Cafe, yeah, I'm not so sure that's the same as like the buildings on the Gold Coast coming down. But when I did the research on those buildings on the Gold Coast, that was the answer I got. Has the Barefoot Cafe wall been repaired?
Yes.
It's been repaired perfectly. She did a very good job.
Okay. When I see Laura next week, I'll find out who paid for that. And the Kamaina and Montserrat, thank you for that pronunciation help. I was struggling with that. DTS, I'll see where their investigation is on that. And on the camera on Diamond Head Road, is that Diamond Head Road? What's the intersection there, sir?
I was just
Camera
thinking,
suggestion?
just generally on the couple problem areas that are there, the blind curve, could probably have one
Okay.
there, and then further up, you could also possibly use it to, look at the homeless encampment area. Just have an early warning system in case there is a brush fire. You can see it almost immediately on camera. I don't know if anyone is, like you said, watching it, but it would be just easy to see.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Anton. This is Arlene.
Hi.
I just want to clarify. My question regarding the Gold Coast was more my concern about the foundations on several of those condos being undermined because they are actually built directly on the sand. And my concern is that I realize that the condo owner, it's primarily responsible. But when we've seen buildings collapse, homes collapse here, it's always the state that does the disaster mitigation. Where if you have a whole condo collapsing onto your ocean and the reefs, you have a real issue on your hand. So I'm trying to have us be a little more proactive because we have seen condos collapse in Florida, and people were actually killed. I would really feel terrible if we just see this happening and do nothing about it. So that was my concern. And then as far as the Gold Coast, and then my concern with Diamond Head Road, there's that bridge at Leahe Park, and it seems to be getting even worse as far as the collapsing. You can see it all the way from the ocean and all the way. Actually, it looks like it's going under the road, this erosion. So it was those two issues. And then with the, as far as the seawall, I know there was a lawsuit that the state and the city and the homeowners were all involved with, that as far as the seawall itself. And I think it was resolved where the state, because people are walking on that wall, the state is responsible for like the top of it. And then, you know, it's just kind of convoluted, but I know the state has responsibility for it.
Okay. And Madam Matson?
Thank you for joining us tonight, Anton. You're always so informative. Just to backtrack a little bit regarding fires going to our Public Safety Committee, I think you brought up very clearly at one of our more recent meetings that the city is really taking charge of the homeless encampment problem at Diamond Head and is really making a difference. And I can agree with that. This last month with the HFD report, there were no nuisance or brush fires in this area. So there is a big difference being made. If our committee finds anything or wants to draft a resolution because something is not being done, that's certainly an option. And also removing the encampments to the entrance of the LOI golf course was a great achievement. And we really want to thank you for cleaning up this area. I guess you're still in charge of that department or so affiliated with it.
Yeah, they report to me now. Yeah. They report
Okay,
to me.
good. Then you're the boss. Good.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you for those comments, but I know that you know my number, so I take all calls on that stuff. It's important.
I got your number. Okay. Then let's see. Oh, there is a pending issue with the city fence at the nursery, creating a chicken highway from Kapahulu Park into the surrounding neighborhoods. Not just chickens, lots of roosters at 4 and 5 in the morning. And now we understand that either it was, I think you referred it, judging from our communication, you were going to refer it to Department of Facilities Management, and then it came up that it would be the Department of Parks and Recreation. And I understand from Urban Forestry that occupies that site that they have not done anything, but the people along the fence have reported that the city is chopping vegetation away from the fence, causing a lot of erosion, and that will cause, the fence is getting weak and it will cause it to fall. And then you won't just have a gap to fill, you'll have a whole mile of fence to replace. So where do we stand on that?
Right, on the Rooster Freeway, we first went and we did customer service because they have the contracts for chickens, the chicken population. But then it turned out I could put up a work order with DFM to fix that fence. But it turned out it was Parks and Rec. Director Thielen agreed that she would fix the fence. And then she sent her people to fix it. And it turned out that the fence stops where the park is, and they would have to encroach on private property to fix the fence, and they were uncomfortable in doing that. So, you get caught in these kind of funky situations for 8 inches of space. So, I thought that maybe I'd go out there and talk to whoever lives in that building and say, hey, would you let us, do this, and say that, there's no liability, and I'll get it done.
Right.
So let me get back to you next month. I think that's probably the only way to do it. After we went around a lot of circles on that one.
I think we're on the same page here. And the thing is, all of the residents in that area would be very happy to have that repaired, no matter whose property needs to be stepped on. And I think a lot of them would contribute to that mitigation. So just to be able to sleep and have a quality of life back again.
Right. I agree. I agree.
So let's continue the conversation. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, and I see Margaret, you have a question?
Yeah. I sent when I was in Victoria, I noticed that they had incredibly visible flashing light signage manually operated by pedestrians that were easily seen by vehicles. I think maybe the city has one in Kailua, I'd heard. I haven't seen it though. These have to be less expensive than the speed humps. And they're just, I mean, it was just the cars could see them from a distance. I know that probably they wouldn't work on Diamond Head Road because it's a monument, but also too, this week I saw that the city was doing work on a Waialae Avenue. And was that just the restriping of the crosswalks? And number 3 was, have they relooked at the issues on Montserrat with the lane changes with the left turn on Leahi, I think it is, backing up traffic forever. You even said that.
Didn't they address the left-hand turn? Didn't they address the left-hand turn? I thought that was one of the ones that Roger was proud of. Yep.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
I think
I'll
it's
ask him.
still weird. And it
Yeah,
backs up traffic all the way down because the people wanting to turn right when they're going Mackay on Montserrat, they have to wait if the guy in front of them is going straight, and they have to wait through traffic. And it
I thought
backs
Roger
up in
told-
the school too.
I thought Roger
You-
said that they addressed that.
Well, double check. But was there something else going on Waialae? Because I mean, it was closed, kind of closed off for quite a while. Maybe it's just the restriping of the crosswalks.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
was wondering, because the thing is that they say the most accidents are caused by left turns. And so that's what backs up traffic on Kapahulu and Waialae are cars turning left on, without the directional left turns lanes. And that is seriously even more than texting and reaching behind to grab something in the back seat. Left turns cause the most accidents. So on Waialae and Kapahulu is bad too. It's too bad that they just can't turn right or wait until the left turn directional, is
Well, I
available
know when they
for
look,
them.
when they look at those areas, they have the records for the accidents and everything else. They get to whatever the
Right.
real situation is. Yeah.
Yeah, but can you double check on the Montserrat? Because I don't think they've changed it. I don't think they've changed it. Yeah, they might have. As I said before, they have changed the express bus line, the red
Okay.
bike and bus only. They took that out. That was an
Yeah.
experiment paint only.
Will do.
So that was really good because I almost had an accident. Turning left from Cahill going towards Diamond Head.
Sure.
And there was a bus in the right-hand lane. I was turning left onto Kapahulu. And the bus didn't have a signal on, and he turned left too, and the cars parked on both sides of the street. He almost smashed into me. If there had been, but they took that whole lane out, so that was
Chair, point of order.
really great.
Yeah, okay.
We're running long.
With what, Margaret, maybe we can
Yeah, I'm
put
done.
these in the Traffic and Transportation Committee, but
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for that. And those are all very valid, dangerous areas that you mentioned. Arlene, you got another?
Yes, Anton, I have a comment and a question. The comment is, thank you very much. I have seen the very few homeless cliff dwellers now on the Diamond Head Cliffs. That's very good. A lot less trash, which is wonderful. So thank you. But I also want to ask, I didn't ask the police department because last time they said, the mayor controls, what they do. But I have been following national politics, of course, and I'm very concerned about seeing ICE police, masked ICE police raiding our cities, and I assume we have a very racially mixed population, and I assume we are going to soon be a target. And I'd like to know what the mayor's position is on cooperation with ICE and our local police, and how we're going to protect our very mixed, beautifully diverse population here.
Since you asked for what the mayor thinks, I'll ask the mayor. I could tell you that I work in this area, and we're not seeking federal support here that some of the cities are getting. There are some alignments with what the administration is liking to do, especially in the homeless area, where we are not just doing what the old HUD wanted us to do. We're picking people up and treating them. So that we're trying to do things that align us, so we also don't get in the crosshairs of other things. But since you asked for the mayor's position on that, I'll go ask for a position from the mayor and let you know. Okay. But we work hard to make sure that we don't get out of line with the administration on issues that we're not out of line. Other
Yeah,
ones I try to
I
just
think
stay away from.
I think that even if you try to appease this administration, it's not going to work. So I would like to be prepared. Thank you.
And through the time that I'm here and the mayor's here, that will be the federal
Yeah,
administration.
the federal administration, the federal
Yeah.
administration.
Thank you, Director Cookie. I had just a couple of follow-up points, and thank you, Vice Chair Velasco, for that. Couple more pedestrian things. The crosswalk in front of Leonard, still, I've seen cars hit it just driving by. It's unmarked. It really does need to be painted. There's some temporary stanchions on it that indicate, hey, don't run into this thing, but it would be better just to have it be yellow or flashing lights or something there that indicates there's a giant chunk of concrete now in the middle of the street on Kapahulu. And the other one was, I've mentioned it before, but next to the pumping station or the Reynolds recycling, a lot of the folks that are recycling cans or bottles just leave their trash and carts there. It would be really great if we could have a city trash bin, the kind that are picked up by the machines, next to the Reynolds recycling, so that people can just throw their trash straight into there rather than having the city have it come in and clean out the park on the other side of the pumping station, which is exactly what happens. And if you drive by right now, there's a big pile of trash, which probably DFM, I don't know who piled it there. Actually, they probably would have taken it out if they piled it, but I just see that as a perennial problem. So if we could get a trash bin put there for folks that are going to throw away trash anyway, that would just kind of help out the city, I think. And finally, I was wondering, how do we advance this dog park at the beginning of this, at the Alloway Golf Course, now that our resolution is passed, if you have any advice on that?
That it would be either between Dita and Laura if they are of a mind to do that. I don't think it's on their list, but I'll ask them when I go to the cabinet meeting. The crosswalk in front of Leonard's got it, and the pumping station. E&V has the trash pickup. They're the ones that pick up in front of your house, and putting out a public place where people can just dump their trash has all sorts of other consequences too. I know that there's trash there and you say you should pick it up, but if you put something out there like that, it could be a magnet. So I'll ask Roger Babcock, his thoughts on that. But just so you know, it's not like a solution and then it goes away. You do something like that, it has consequences. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, and with that, I think we should probably head on to our next guest, but we really appreciate you coming and all the attention you've given to our neighborhood. And yeah, it's just making a big difference here in the quality of life. So we really appreciate you and all the efforts that you do.
Thank you. It's great to see everyone.
Thank you. Excuse me, Chair. I have a question for Director.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Yes, one more if we could from, it
Real quick.
sounds
It'll be real
like
quick.
Daisy. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Director, for answering regarding bus route 20 to be replaced by 2 special buses that go down in Relate. The problem is let the public know, because no one knows that they'll be connecting buses, because it's difficult to transfer to other areas. The other thing is, what is the status regarding bus 200 a lot of the community members had a meeting with the DTS director and staff, and they concluded that they're going to do something, but nothing has been done. It seems as though they're not listening to the community because a lot of people have concerns because it's a very dangerous route going through Kapahulu and Kaimaki area. It's great for Palolo, but once it leaves Wildlife Avenue through to go to the aquarium, etc., very few passengers. In fact, some drivers actually bypass the right there at Paki Park because they figure most people don't ride the bus, the 200. That's why it seems as though that should be rerouted and go through, like I suggested to Director Morton, go like the 13 and 14, make a right turn on Kapahulu Avenue and continue. That would be a better and safer route for everybody. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for that, Daisy. Okay, and with that, thank you, Director Crucky, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Yeah, thank you.
We have Council Chair Tommy Waters' office. I did see someone online for Chair Waters.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead, Ms. Luke.
Hi, good evening, Chair and members. I'm Tasha Luke from Council Chair Tommy Waters' office. I just have a quick few updates this evening. First off, a constituent reported houseless individuals continue to live in their vehicles at Pocky Park. So we have reached out to the mayor's office once again to look into the issue and send outreach services and conduct enforcement as necessary. Two resolutions recently passed October's full council meeting. The first one, Resol 25-279, introduced by Chair Waters, reaffirms its strong and ongoing support for the May 9, 2023 Unified Statement on Red Hill and the efforts of the Red Hill Water Alliance Initiative, and stands with our community to demand access to clean, safe water now and for generations to come. And Resolution 25-280, introduced by Chair Waters, Council members Kiaina and Tipola, supports and reaffirms Kamehameha School's mission and its contributions to the Native Hawaiian community. That's all I have this evening. I'm happy to take back any questions or concerns to Chair Waters.
Questions for Chair Waters' office, Madam Metzen. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. I have a proposal. We have a very clear resolution regarding a dog park at LOI Golf Course entrance set back from Kapahulu Avenue. We just heard that perhaps a couple of city directors might be looking into this. Well, okay, that happens a lot. So my proposal is to request that Chair Waters, our council member, introduce a bill to get that scenic open space rolling with a public use. And the dog park has been established as a needed public use, supported by the community as well as the board. So that's my proposal.
Thank you. I will let him know.
Other
We would like a response, please, on that.
Okay.
Thanks.
and other questions for Chair Waters' office. Daisy, do you have a question?
Yes, yes, thank you, Chair. Hi, Tasha. Regarding the council just approved just the first initial regarding extension of the skyline all the way to University of Hawaii. It seems as though all the projects that the skyline is starting to do, which is great for areas that need it, and to get to the airport, etc. But it seems as though once it gets to Iwilei, Kapalama, etc., the city is all of a sudden doing their development of transit-orient developments. So in my opinion, there might be more coming into Mo'ili, Kapahulu, these areas, because that's what they need businesses. They need people to use and utilize the skyline lines. So it seems as though to me that the skyline is basically as a building tool for businesses to build and take over established communities and neighborhoods and can make it completely like the mainland. So I think they need to rethink about extending the rail all the way to the university. Thank you.
Thank you.
And other questions for chair members? Go
Is it okay
ahead.
if I respond to Daisy?
Yes, board member Hesser,
Thank you.
please do. Yes.
Daisy, I'm in full agreement. We already have two examples. One is a 400-foot high-rise along Kapiolani, and then there is this proposed high-density development at the cross-section of Waialae Avenue and the freeway entrance, which is going to cause traffic pandemonium and disaster. We are not even thinking about the Alawai Bridge, which is going to be access to this rail line along this route. So I think you can put all the little pieces together and you can see exactly what's being planned in the back room. And we have already taken a position on our Kapahulu community about higher density redevelopment, where the city wanted to come in with their primary urban center development plan and take up single family homes that people want to leave to their children and have them redeveloped into multi-story, family units with higher density in this established community. And you used exactly the right term. Established communities need respect. Thank you.
Thank you, board member Matson. And with that, I think we will move on then to Councilmember Nishimoto's office. I did see someone online.
Hi, Chair.
Go ahead.
Hi, board members.
Hi, Kylie.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Just a quick announcement that we're going to be teaming up with Representative Jackson Sayama's office again to do a park cleanup in Palolo at Azama Park. It's on Waimau Road. I'll leave the address in the chat. So that's going to be next Saturday, the 18th from 9:30 to 11:30. So please join us if you can. And if you could email our office or Jackson's office so we can get a head count for some bentos that we're going to be having afterwards. But yeah, if anyone can join us at that cleanup, that'd be great. As always, I'll leave all the details in the chat as well as our e-blast information. But if there's any questions, comments, concerns, I'm happy to take them back to council member. Thank you.
Thank you, Kylie. And go ahead, board member Wong.
Thank you. I'm disappointed. I thought for some reason Scott was going to come this evening and explain to us the changes in the city council. I'm disappointed. Very
I'm sorry.
disappointed.
Yeah, he's out of town, but I'll definitely
I
I'll let him
thought
know.
I saw it written somewhere in the mayor's report or something that he, yeah, because it's significant. I'm happy with what he did, but it's significant. It's major. And we need to know about it. And he's the one that instituted it. So tell him we miss him and we would like to see him here and tell us about what happened at the city council.
Okay,
All the
thank you.
changes.
Gotcha. Will do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And any other questions online for council member's office? Okay, thank you, Kylie. And also thank you, Ms. Luke, for coming from Councilmember Waters' office as well. And with that, I don't believe that we have anyone from Congressmember Case's office or Brian Schatz or Mazie Hirono. They have their hands full. Josh Green's representative is not here today. He did email me. So if there's any specific questions we have for him, we can let Curtis know. I think there was one that already came up. And I did see someone from Stanley Chang's office here online anyway. Casey?
Casey, I'm from Senator Stanley Chang's office. I put in the chat our newsletter. So if you want any updates about District 9, you can look it up there. And if you have any questions or comments, I can take it back to the senator.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for Senator Chang's office? And seeing none, thank you very much for coming tonight, Casey, and relaying.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Senators. Senator Ihara let me know that he could not come tonight and sends his regrets. Yes, Carol Fukunaga does have a teeny bit of our district that overlaps probably with Ikai Gold, but next we do have Tina Nakata Grandinetti, our representative from the State House, who's come in person. So welcome, Representative.
So just another reminder that I'm hosting a Lawmakers Listen Town Hall on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, October 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Liho Liho Elementary School cafeteria. And we will be having the Speaker of the House, Nadine Nakamura, joining us along with Majority Leader, Majority Caucus Leader, our House Finance Chair, and our House Judiciary Chair. So it's a really good opportunity to share your community concerns, especially with all the changes happening at the federal level. Our leadership team is really invested in hearing directly from District 20 about if we're feeling any of those impacts and how we can prepare for bigger changes. You mentioned how we can protect our community against ICE, and I think many of us legislators are looking at different measures we can introduce this coming session, things like, banning face masks, sort of preempting what we've seen happening in other cities and states. And then I wanted to also share that yesterday I went to a traffic safety summit hosted by the Hawaii Department of Transportation. I'm sure you all have heard that this year we're at 65 traffic fatalities now. It's a real crisis. Happen to have known two of those people who were both young men and that were really important to their communities. And since we have talked so much about traffic and public safety in this meeting, I really want to share that one of the presenters was the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization, and they shared their research from countries and cities that have reduced their traffic fatalities. We have a really high rate. We've increased 50% in the first 6 months of 2026 compared to last year. And we know that the way to decrease fatalities is to to slow down cars through design and through enforcement, and to make long-term investments in public transportation and multimodal connectivity. So if I can get on my soapbox, really urge our traffic and transportation committee to take that data and research to heart, because we need to make those investments here. We need to move away from a dependence on cars, especially in a very walkable and safe, a walkable neighborhood that should be safe for pedestrians and cyclists, like the one we have here in Kapahulu. Thank you. And here for questions.
Thank you, Representative Grandinetti. And Board Member Matson.
Question. Thank you, Representative, for being here in person. I just have a question. You mentioned the House leadership that would be present at your community meeting, but I didn't catch any names. So could you give us the names of those? I guess.
Sure. Nadine
Orly-
Nakamura,
Yes,
Speaker of the House, Majority Leader Sean Quinlan, Majority Caucus Leader Kirsten Kahaloa, House Finance Chair Chris Todd, and House Judiciary Chair David Tarnas.
Okay, thank you very much.
And can you remind us what committees you're going to be on, or do you know for this?
Yeah, I'm on transportation and housing, and I'm Vice Chair of Consumer Protection.
Is transportation and housing one committee?
Separate.
Oh, separate committees. Okay, yeah. And if you could forward any information that you have about traffic and traffic safety to us, that would be most welcome.
Great.
And Angie, go ahead.
I have a question on the purview of the consumer protections one. HOAs, is that or housing? Okay.
It would probably start in housing and then go to
So
consumer
like
protection.
specifically, I know in a lot of the area because of insurances is going up, and I know there was legislation last year for it.
Mhm.
But do you know if there's already a law about like how much the increase can be in like the certain amount of time you have to give warning for it? Or it's okay if you don't know right now because I know that's random. But
The rates have to go through the rate commission, but there's not like a legislated cap.
okay,
Yeah.
just curious.
I can find out more information. Thanks.
Hi, Tina. This is Arlene. I just have a quick question. Can you restate the date and the time and the place of the meeting?
Oh, sure. October 14th, that's this coming Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m. at Liho Liho Elementary School. And we're sending out email updates. So if you would like to join our e-newsletter, it's repgrandinetti, or you can email me at repgrandinetti@capital.hawaii.gov.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming tonight. And I saw Representative Olds, actually, let me before go in order because I think from Mr. Sayama's office is here, if not Mr. Sayama himself. Representative Sayama's office. Did you see him? Okay, if not, then Mr. Garrett probably is not here. He's got that little sliver too that we have. And Mr. Olds, I did see you online, so welcome, Representative Olds.
Good evening. Thank you. No new updates for this month. Do want to share, we are still conducting surveys. So if you live in my precinct 1 of Kapahulu behind Safeway, please get your survey to me as soon as you can. We're going to start formulating bills already. We have a pretty good idea of where we're at in terms of what the community wants. But I still want to hear back, especially if there's particular things that are not common, just so I can be aware and I can keep it in my tool belt when we move into this session. With that, I'll take any questions.
Questions for Representative Olds? Board Member Hasina?
Hello. I already mentioned, thank you for coming today. So you may be. So,
I can hear you.
Yeah. So you already know I emailed and forwarded about the cat, also the homeless camping in this area. And I mentioned it earlier about someone feral cat feeding, someone, travelers people are feeding all the area that in front, city mill to the foodland on that footpath, walking there. So I need to know how it's possible and why they are feeding cat freely all the time, and the homeless are camping inside and outside, and they make some kind of shelter. That's surprisingly why they are making the shelter inside the what is that actually? Under the bridge. Can you mention, have you ever seen that?
I'm sorry, under where?
Under the bridge, St. Louis Bridge, and also the foodland and crossing this overpass, freeway. So they're making camping and also they're freely moving part this city's boundary, and they're in and out all the time. And a lot of homeless, and we don't know who are those, and why they're making a shelter and camping, permanently camping over there. And also feeding the cat all the time, but they're not residents, none of them. So they're travelers, and they're coming from different places all the time, day and night, both time.
Are we just talking about the homeless population, or is somebody else feeding the feral cats?
Yeah, they're not homeless people. They are someone travelers. They are not residential people. Yeah, and homeless also stay there, but they are not feeding the cat. That's me. I'm not sure, but so many crowded over there and unknown people always walking there, and what they're doing, nobody knows, and they're in and out and got this faint, city faint. It's very strong faint. The hole, making the big hole. It's kind of some kind of safety issue and unhealthy. And I'm really, really concerned. Who are those people? Got this city faint, the strong faint, and in and out, and they're fearless kind. It's kind of, scary.
Well, let me answer. It sounds like there's two separate questions here. So there's the issue with feral cat feedings, and then there's the issue with the homeless.
Yes. And homeless,
So,
both.
well, let's address the feral cat feedings first. I did hear earlier there was concerns about the feral chickens. That did come up in our lawmakers listen as the second highest priority outside of homelessness in our district was actually the feral chickens and feral cats.
Yeah, both.
So for us, we discovered that there is a statute when it comes to feral animals and feedings that if they become a problem, and it's kind of a gray term, it's kind of a subjective term. If they become a problem, it is reportable. So there is a limit, there's a threshold on people being able to support these, animal communities out in public.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we have that in our district too. We actually have somebody that I caught over in McCully. She was driving down the street with a bag of rice, and she literally was driving down Fern Street, just pouring rice on the side of the road to feed the chickens.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's an issue that again, there is a statute. There are some of us in the legislative body who are trying to come up with better wording, better language to help address this issue. A big thing is the roosters tend to wake people up in all hours of the night. And I know your community gets it because we send the crowing one way and then it lights up everybody going down this way and it kind of comes back or this way. And, we're all up at 3 o'clock in the morning. But we have to change the statute. We have to change the language to make it a little bit harder because the current program that the city has, if you can deploy it correctly, if you have the finances and the volunteers in a neighborhood to be able to deploy it well, you can significantly drop a feral chicken population. You can do something very similar with a spay and neuter, the trap and release that the Humane Society has for cats. But long story short, there is going to be something coming out next year in session. We'll see where it goes. There are some people that are very passionate about the protection of animals. And so we'll see what ends up happening with this. But for the homeless question, so that area you're talking about Harding, I assume, right across the street from Market City, the Foodland, that where the freeway's above, and it's Harding. Yeah. Okay. So that area's historically had a big problem with homeless domiciling there, and largely it's because there's a natural shelter right above them. Right. So two parts: it's government property on the fence line that they are often connecting to, and then there's a natural shelter that's there. So the government tends to move sometimes a little bit slower versus if it was a private residence, they would probably call HPD to tell them to move. But if that agency that operates there, I believe it's the safety check, right? If they're not making the reports, who's going to move on it? So that's one big issue. But the problem is it's access to resources. And then also some people just don't want to go to shelter. And that's the reality. They rather live out on the street. And I think that's something we have to fix. But that kind of answers that question, particularly for that one area of Harding, where there's the freeways overhead. It's because there's a natural shelter and because the landowner who's right there adjacently is a government agency.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And Linda, you have a question, comment?
I believe Rufina was especially trying to address City Mill, that there's a homeless population over there causing big troubles in different kinds of
that
ways.
the bridge that goes under that from the canal that's down there. So that's not my district, but the homeless populations tends to cycle. So the ones that were evicted off of the slopes of Diamond Head are now actually in the Kapahulu and in my community. The sweeps are a very complicated and kind of controversial thing. All they do is they tend to just shuffle the deck. With the people who domicile underneath the bridges, like so behind City Mills, that canal. Again, the bridge has a safe space, right? Creates a shelter from the elements. If they are able to build on the slopes They're out of sight, so they're out of sight generally when you're just driving down the street, and they have the shelter. So incredibly dangerous for them. I did have a bill this year that would have removed the homeless from being able to domicile in freshwater streams that lead to the ocean, but that was largely for their safety, but also because of the amount of trash that tends to find its way into the stream and then into the ocean. So I will be introducing that bill again. I have to kind of get some buy-in from some key people at the legislature, but at the end of the day, it's an environmental bill. People may think it's targeting the homeless, but we pulled out 6 mopeds from the Date Street bridge. So right at Yolani, there's a Date Street Bridge right by Kamiki High School. Right underneath there was a pretty large condominium community. There were 6 mopeds we pulled out last year in various stages of decay that were full of gas, and they have oil and lubricants that are still in them. So all of this is just finding its way into the ocean, and we can't be having that.
Thank you, Representative. Are there any other? Okay, thank you very much for coming in your service for our community. And can you just remind us of what committees you're going to be on or that you are continuing to be on?
I will still be the vice chair of Human Services and Homelessness, and then I will also be a member of the Education, Higher Education, and Health Committees.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for coming, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we have 4 minutes left of luxurious time, maybe 3. Well, let's say 3 plus. So we're not going to be able to finish probably, but of course, we're meeting here next month, same day and time pattern. We don't have any committee reports from Environment, Parks and Rec, Planning and Zoning, but Traffic and Transportation did have a meeting. And so, Angie, if you want to let us know.
Hi. Yeah, so we met on Tuesday, and partially, I don't know if that's because I didn't reach out to the neighborhood board, but it would have been nice if there was other members there. So this is just a friendly thing saying, hey, maybe come to a committee meeting. So DTS was there. I did get to talk to Kelly. She gave me some updates. That's where she told us about the always stop. What I wanted in a short amount of time to mention is at the end of it, I was talking to some of the DTS people, and I will follow up with the chair, but we were talking about restricted parking zones or permitted parking zones. And so this has to do with Diamond Head and the multiple events that happen at the Shell, and it has to do with different streets being marked off for no parking. And it would help alleviate the pressure, or not the pressure, but it would help alleviate some of the burden that those signs are having to enforce. And so what it would mean is that the residents who live in that zone would have the right of way to park on the street parking. And those who do not have the permit would be able to be cited and or towed, actually. And so it would give the right of way to the residents of the area. And so I wanted to bring it up to the group because we talked about it in the parking committee as an idea to learn more about, to see if Diamond Head would like to get on the list. Because the way to do it is that the DTS and the city or the city council can only pick one permitted zone per year. So you have to get on the list. So this is not something that we would do instantly. This is an ongoing process. But because of all of the events and all of the road closures that do happen around Diamond Head, Kapahulu Park, and the Shell and the Kine, Diamond Head is actually a good contender to be considered. And again, it would prioritize those who live there and would like to park near their homes. So that is the update from the Traffic, Transportation, and Public Safety Committee meeting that I had as co-chair that I no longer am co-chair for. Thank you. Questions?
Question?
Okay, I can also see we are at 8:59. So go with your question, but we'll.
How many people came? How many people came, Angie?
There's 3 from DTS. There's Rafia and I, and 2 other community members.
Okay, go ahead.
Hockey Ave for no parking or the parking stalls on.
Oh, with the restricted parking?
Yeah.
It is case by case. So they would just look into it. And the idea of it is that you would have to have other.
What's your idea?
Oh, my idea?
Yeah, like
This
what does
is
it look like
more
ideally?
This is more for the residential streets where there are not metered stalls. that often because people don't want to pay for parking, they will go into the neighborhoods. This would make a priority for residents of said neighborhoods to be able to park in their area. And it would push those who do not have the permit into the metered stalls, as they should be.
And with that, I think this is really, thank you for holding that committee meeting. It's a very important topic. Yeah, I could say a lot coming on that one, for, against, and otherwise. We don't have time to consider the other things on the agenda, but I will just say that about the meeting minutes, yes, it's my feeling is pass them en masse next month. Just to get them off here, we are not actually required to pass meeting minutes under the neighborhood plan that I can see. I would like all of my comments still stay the same. If we can run them through AI and get better meetings between now and then, and if I have any volunteers from any of you to help with that, that's great. We can always go back in the past. But with that, I look forward to seeing all of you here next month, and keep up the good work. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.